Hello guys, welcome to Saiyan What If. So in this video, we will see what if Goku was born as a Saiyan Kryptonian hybrid with God Ki. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Chapter 1, Origins unleashed the pod streak through Earth's atmosphere, trailing fire and distortion as it cut through clouds and scattered birds in its wake. Unlike a normal meteor, this one changed direction twice, compensating for wind resistance before locking onto a small mountain range. Gohan was gathering firewood when the impact shook the forest. The old martial artist dropped his bundle and sprinted toward the sound, moving with agility that belied his years. What he found in the small crater wasn't a meteor but a metal sphere with strange symbols etched into its surface, symbols that seemed to shift and change as he stared at them. What in the world? Gohan muttered, approaching cautiously. The pod hissed open. Inside wasn't a weapon or scientific instrument, but a baby boy with wild black hair. The child blinked up at the sunlight, then at Gohan, and smiled. But what caught the old martial artist's attention wasn't the smile but the child's eyes. They flickered between deep onyx and a brilliant blue, as if two different children were taking turns looking out. "Well, hello there, little one," Gohan said, reaching into the pod. "Where did you come from?" The baby giggled and grabbed Gohan's finger with surprising strength. The old man winced as the grip tightened, threatening to crack bone. "Quite the grip you have," he said, gently working his finger free. "I think I'll call you Goku." As he lifted the child, something else caught his eye, a small crystal embedded in the pod's control panel, glowing with soft blue light. Gohan pocketed it before carrying the baby home. Raising Goku proved more challenging than Gohan had anticipated. By age 3, the boy could lift the dining table with one hand while reaching for food with the other. By 4, Gohan caught him floating in his sleep, hovering inches above his bed. And the child's appetite was insatiable, he could consume enough food for 10 grown men and still ask for more. But the most concerning development came during Goku's 5th year, when they ventured deeper into the mountains than usual. "Grandpa, look!" Goku pointed excitedly at a massive bear approaching a stream. "Can we say hello?" "That's a wild animal, Goku. We should keep our distance." But the boy was already rushing forward, moving so quickly that Gohan couldn't catch him. "Hi, bear. I'm Goku." The startled animal roared and swung a massive paw. Any normal child would have been killed instantly, but Goku caught the paw with both hands. The impact slid him back several feet, carving trenches in the soil with his heels. "That's not very nice," Goku said, frowning. The bear roared again and pushed harder. Goku's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, they flashed bright blue. A pulse of energy, visible as a rippling in the air, erupted from the boy's body. The bear was thrown backward, crashing through 3 trees before coming to rest, unconscious but alive. "Goku!" Gohan rushed to the child, checking him for injuries. "What did you do?" "I don't know," Goku said, looking at his hands in confusion. "He was pushing, and I felt hot inside, and then," he made an explosive gesture with his fingers. That night, after Goku had fallen asleep, Gohan retrieved the crystal he'd taken from the pod. In the 5 years since finding the boy, he'd occasionally caught the crystal glowing in response to Goku's more extreme emotions. Now, he studied it by candlelight. "What secrets do you hold?" he whispered. As if in response, the crystal pulsed. Light erupted from its surface, coalescing into a holographic image of 2 men, one wearing ornate red and blue garments with a symbol resembling an S, the other in armor with an unusual crest. "Fusion process is stable," the armored man was saying, his voice distorted. "Bardock's DNA sequence has successfully integrated with Last Hope," the other man interrupted. "Krypton is dying, and your people are scattered. This child carries both our legacies." "The God Ki infusion was successful," the armored man continued. "It will help stabilize the hybrid cells and find him," Zod will, the message fragmented, images breaking apart before resolving again. Earth's yellow sun will, power beyond, protect him. The projection disappeared, leaving Gohan in darkness with more questions than answers. Again. Gohan commanded, standing firm despite his 80 years. 12-year-old Goku launched himself forward, throwing combinations of punches and kicks that would have overwhelmed any normal martial artist. Gohan deflected and redirected, using the boy's momentum against him. "You're relying on strength again," Gohan chided, sidestepping a powerful blow that cracked the boulder behind him. "Power without control is just destruction." Goku nodded, adjusting his stance. This time, he moved more deliberately, focusing on precision rather than force. He closed his eyes for a moment, and Gohan noticed the faint golden shimmer that sometimes appeared around the boy when he concentrated deeply. The old master had come to understand some things about his adopted grandson over the years. The child possessed 3 distinct energy signatures that Gohan could sense: a volatile, aggressive force that flared during combat, a steady, seemingly unlimited reservoir that strengthened in sunlight, and a third, more mysterious energy that manifested as gold-blue light when Goku was pushed to his limits. Their sparring continued until sunset, when Gohan called a halt. "Enough for today. Go catch us dinner, and no laser eyes this time. Fish taste better when they're not already cooked." Goku laughed. That was one time. As the boy raced toward the river, Gohan sank down onto a stump, massaging his knee. He didn't have many years left, and Goku's power was growing exponentially. Just yesterday, he'd caught the boy bench-pressing a massive dinosaur for fun. What worried Gohan most wasn't the power itself but what might happen after he was gone. Goku's heart was pure, but his alien heritage was increasingly evident. Twice now, during the full moon, Gohan had witnessed disturbing transformations beginning, the boy's eyes turning red, his muscles bulging, before he'd managed to get Goku inside and away from the moonlight. "I need to tell him the truth," Gohan murmured. "Before it's too late." Goku stood at the edge of the crater, tears streaming down his face as he looked at what remained of their home. The giant ape, the monster, had destroyed everything during the night. He couldn't remember anything after looking at the full moon, just waking up naked and alone in the forest with their cabin reduced to splinters. "Grandpa," he called again, voice breaking. "Grandpa." He spotted a hand protruding from beneath a massive log. Moving with desperate speed, Goku lifted the entire tree trunk with one hand and flung it aside. Gohan lay broken on the ground, his white gi stained red. "No, no, no," Goku dropped to his knees. "Grandpa, please wake up." The old man's eyes fluttered open. "Goku," he whispered. "I'm going to get help," Goku said, preparing to lift him. "No." Gohan's hand gripped his wrist with surprising strength. "Listen to me. There's something you need to know." "Don't talk, I can, you're not from Earth," Gohan interrupted. "You came in a ship, from the stars." Goku froze. "What?" "The crystal, in my box. It will show you." Gohan coughed, blood speckling his lips. "You have a great power inside you, Goku. 3 powers, becoming one." "I don't understand," Goku said, tears flowing freely now. "You will." Gohan's breathing grew shallower. "Promise me, you'll use your strength to protect, not destroy. You're special, Goku. The last of 2 warrior races, and something more." "I promise," Goku whispered, holding his grandfather's hand as the life faded from his eyes. For a moment, the boy just knelt there, grief overwhelming him. Then something shifted. The ground beneath him began to crack as energy pulsed from his body. The air shimmered with heat. Goku threw back his head and screamed, a sound of pure anguish that echoed across the mountains. His eyes flashed blue, then red, then a brilliant gold. The 3 energies within him resonated together for the first time, responding to his emotional breakthrough. Rocks began to rise around him, suspended in the air by the force of his power. In that moment of raw emotion, Goku caught a glimpse of his potential, and it terrified him. The surge subsided as quickly as it had come, leaving him drained and panting beside his grandfather's body. After burying Gohan on the mountainside, Goku returned to the ruined cabin and found the box his grandfather had mentioned. Inside was the crystal from his ship. "You sure this is the right mountain?" Bulma asked, checking her dragon radar again. The blue-haired teenager had been traveling with Goku for 3 weeks now, ever since she'd literally run into him with her car while searching for the Dragon Balls. "I'm sure," Goku said, leading the way through the forest. At 16, he'd grown tall and powerfully built, though he maintained a boyish enthusiasm for almost everything. Bulma still couldn't quite believe some of the things she'd seen him do, lifting her car to check its underside, outrunning motorcycles on foot, and once, when he thought she wasn't looking, floating down from a cliff instead of climbing. They reached a small cabin Goku had built near his grandfather's grave. "The ball should be inside," he said. Bulma followed him in, immediately noticing the simple, sparse furnishings. "You've been living alone for 4 years." "Yeah, but I'm not here much. I like to train and explore." While Goku searched for the 4-star Dragon Ball, Bulma's attention was caught by something unusual on a shelf, a metallic fragment with strange symbols etched into its surface. "What's this?" she asked, picking it up. Goku glanced over. "Part of the ship I came in. Grandpa told me I'm not from Earth." Bulma nearly dropped the fragment. "Wait, what? You're an alien and you never thought to mention this?" Goku shrugged. "Never came up." "Never came," Bulma sputtered. "Goku. That's not something that needs to come up in conversation. That's major information." "Is it?" He seemed genuinely confused. "I've always been this way." Bulma examined the fragment more carefully, her scientific curiosity overriding her exasperation. "These markings, they're like nothing I've seen before." 2 different writing systems overlapped. "There's more," Goku said, pulling out the crystal. "But I can't make it work right. It showed me some people talking once, but now it just glows sometimes." Bulma carefully took the crystal, turning it over in her hands. "This is incredible technology. Maybe even beyond Capsule Corporation's capabilities." She looked up at Goku with newfound interest. "What else can you do besides the super strength and speed?" Goku hesitated. Since his grandfather's death, he discovered numerous abilities: heat vision, freezing breath, flight, and a strange combat instinct that sometimes felt like a different personality taking over. But he'd learned to be cautious about revealing too much. "Lots of stuff," he said vaguely. "Found the ball." He held up the 4-star Dragon Ball, changing the subject. Bulma recognized the deflection but didn't push. "Great. That makes 5. Just 2 more to go." As they packed up to leave, Bulma pocketed the ship fragment when Goku wasn't looking. Her father would definitely want to see this. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the final match of the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament." The announcer's voice boomed across the arena as Goku stretched in preparation. Across from him, Master Roshi, disguised as Jackie Chun, did the same. The old master had taken Goku under his wing after meeting him during the Dragon Ball hunt, impressed by the boy's unusual potential. "You've come far," Roshi said quietly. "But remember to control your power. These are normal humans watching." Goku nodded. He'd spent months learning to regulate his strength, a necessity after accidentally destroying Roshi's house with a casual punch. "I'll be careful." The match began, and both fighters moved with blinding speed. To the audience, they frequently disappeared from view, reappearing only when their strikes connected. Roshi had centuries of technique, but Goku had raw power and adaptability that bordered on prescience. In the stands, Bulma watched through specialized goggles she developed to track high-speed movement. Beside her sat her father and a team of Capsule Corp scientists, all similarly equipped. "Extraordinary," Dr. Brief murmured. The energy readings we're getting from Goku are off the charts, and they keep changing. 3 distinct signatures, one scientist confirmed. One matches known key patterns from human martial artists, but amplified. The second is similar to solar radiation absorption. The third, we have no reference for. Bulma nodded. In the months since discovering Goku's alien origins, she'd been studying him discreetly. The fragment from his ship had yielded fascinating insights, composite alien metals with molecular structures unknown on Earth. In the ring, the battle intensified. Roshi launched a Kamehameha wave that Goku countered with his own. The energy beams collided in a spectacular display that had the audience gasping. But as the fight progressed, something changed. Goku's movements became sharper, more aggressive. His eyes flickered red momentarily, and his next punch sent Roshi flying into the wall with far more force than intended. The old master extracted himself from the cracked concrete, brushing dust from his disguise. Getting serious, are we? Goku blinked, looking alarmed at his own strength. Sorry, he didn't finish the sentence because his attention suddenly shifted to the sky. 3 spectators in the upper stands had also looked up, a bald giant of a man, a long-haired warrior with a savage expression, and a flame-haired figure with arms crossed over his chest. Roshi followed Goku's gaze. What is it? Someone's watching, Goku said quietly. Someone, like me. The tournament continued, but Goku remained distracted. He won by ring out after a grueling battle, but his celebration was subdued. The 3 strangers had disappeared immediately after his victory. Later, as his friends celebrated at a restaurant, Goku slipped outside for air. He found Bulma already there, typing notes into a small computer. They were aliens, weren't they? She asked without looking up. The ones watching you. Goku leaned against the wall. I think so. They felt familiar somehow. Your energy patterns shifted when you noticed them. The third signature became stronger. She finally looked at him. Goku, I've been studying the crystal and the ship fragment. They're definitely not from one alien species, but 2. It's like your ship was a hybrid of different technologies. Goku digested this. Grandpa said I was the last of 2 warrior races. And something more, a new voice interjected. Both turned to find the flame-haired stranger standing in the shadows. He was shorter than Goku but radiated dangerous power. Who are you? Goku asked, instinctively moving between the stranger and Bulma. I am Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans. His eyes narrowed. And you are Kakarot, son of Bardock, or you would be, if you weren't a contaminated half-breed. Kakarot? Goku repeated. Your Saiyan name, before you were corrupted with Kryptonian DNA. Vegeta spat the word Kryptonian like a curse. An abomination created as some kind of peace offering between our species. Bulma stepped forward despite Goku's protective arm. What are you talking about? What's a Saiyan? What's a Kryptonian? Vegeta ignored her, focusing on Goku. You have no idea what you are, do you? The last science experiment of 2 dead civilizations. 2 dead, Goku started. Planet Vegeta was destroyed by Frieza. Krypton exploded from its unstable core. Vegeta's expression darkened. Both gone within a year of each other. Convenient timing, wouldn't you say? Almost as if someone wanted to erase all evidence of the hybrid program. Goku felt a strange resonance at Vegeta's words, as if pieces of himself were finally making sense. Why are you here? To see if you're worth keeping alive. Vegeta's power suddenly flared, a purple aura surrounding him. The universe doesn't need a Saiyan Kryptonian abomination with divine energy running through his veins. Divine energy? Bulma questioned. God Ki, Vegeta clarified with a sneer. They infused him with it to stabilize the hybrid cells. 2 incompatible species forced together, held stable by the power of creation itself. He dropped into a fighting stance. Show me this power, Kakarot. Show me if you're worthy of surviving. Goku pushed Bulma toward the restaurant. Get everyone away from here. But, now, Bulma. As she ran inside, Goku turned back to Vegeta. I don't want to fight you. Of course you do. Vegeta smirked. The Saiyan blood in you is screaming for battle. Embrace it. He launched forward with blistering speed, his fist connecting with Goku's jaw before he could react. The impact sent Goku crashing through the restaurant wall and out the other side, landing in the street beyond. Goku picked himself up, wiping blood from his lip. Something was stirring inside him, a primal excitement that answered Vegeta's challenge. Not here, he said. Too many people. Vegeta appeared in front of him. Then keep up. He shot into the night sky. Goku followed, accelerating until the city below became a grid of lights. They raced over mountains and forests until reaching a barren wasteland far from civilization. Now, Vegeta said, landing on a rocky plateau. Show me what the last Saiyan Kryptonian can do. The fight that followed was unlike anything Goku had experienced. Vegeta was ruthlessly efficient, combining energy blasts with devastating physical attacks. But for the first time, Goku didn't need to hold back. He matched Vegeta blow for blow, discovering combat instincts he didn't know he possessed. Is that all? Vegeta taunted after landing a particularly vicious combination. Where's this god ki I've heard about? Goku wiped blood from a cut above his eye. I don't know what you're talking about. The golden energy. The divine force. Vegeta fired a massive energy blast that Goku barely deflected. The power that makes you more than just a hybrid freak. Something about Vegeta's words struck a chord. Goku remembered moments when golden light had surrounded him, when Grandpa Gohan died, when he'd faced seemingly insurmountable challenges during his training. Maybe I need to remind you of your heritage, Vegeta said, floating upward. He raised his hand, and an artificial moon materialized in the sky. Look, Kakarot. Embrace your Saiyan nature. The false moon's blood waves washed over them both. Vegeta began to transform immediately, his body expanding, fur sprouting across his skin as he became a gigantic ape-like creature. Goku felt the transformation beginning in himself too, but something fought against it. The Kryptonian side of his biology seemed to resist the change, creating an internal war that left him paralyzed with pain. Look at the moon. Great Ape Vegeta roared, grabbing Goku in one massive hand and forcing his face toward the artificial satellite. Goku's eyes fixed on the moon as his body convulsed. Memories flooded back, the night Grandpa Gohan died, the destruction he'd caused in his transformed state. But this time, the transformation stalled halfway. Instead of becoming a full great ape, Goku's body bulked with muscle, his canines elongated, and his eyes burned red. Solar energy from his Kryptonian side surged through his system, fighting the Saiyan transformation. What is this? Vegeta growled, tightening his grip. Transform properly. No. Goku shouted. The conflict between his dual heritage reached critical mass. As Vegeta crushed him tighter, something else awakened inside Goku, the third energy, the god ki that had lain dormant except in moments of extreme emotion. Golden light erupted from his body, forcing Vegeta to release him. The ape stumbled backward as Goku hovered in the air, surrounded by flickering gold-blue aura. Impossible, Vegeta gasped, his ape form receding as his concentration on the artificial moon broke. You haven't been trained. You can't access God Ki consciously. But Goku wasn't listening. The three energies within him, Saiyan power, Kryptonian solar absorption, and divine essence, had synchronized for the first time. His consciousness expanded, perceiving energy flows that had always been invisible before. When he spoke, his voice carried a resonance that wasn't entirely his own. I don't know what I am, Vegeta. But I know what I'm not, a killer. He moved with unprecedented speed, appearing behind the prince before he could react. With a precise strike to a pressure point, Goku rendered Vegeta unconscious. As the prince collapsed, Goku's transformation subsided, leaving him drained but enlightened. For the first time, he understood the true nature of his power, not three separate forces, but a single unified energy that transcended its components. He lifted Vegeta's unconscious form. Let's find out who we really are. Capsule Corporation's most secure laboratory hadn't been designed to contain alien warriors, but it was the best option available. Vegeta had been secured with energy-dampening restraints developed based on observations of Goku's powers. "He's waking up," Bulma announced, watching the monitors. Goku, Roshi, and Dr. Brief gathered around the observation screen. 2 days had passed since the fight, giving Bulma time to analyze both aliens' DNA with samples collected while Vegeta was unconscious. "What did you find?" Goku asked. Bulma pulled up comparison charts on another screen. "It's extraordinary. Vegeta's DNA shows what I assume is pure Saiyan genetics, enhanced strength, durability, adaptive combat abilities, and transformation potential triggered by certain lunar wavelengths." She swiped to another chart. "Your DNA contains Saiyan markers, but they've been ingeniously interwoven with another genetic structure, presumably Kryptonian. The Kryptonian DNA seems focused on solar energy absorption, processing, and application." "And the third energy?" Rashi asked. "That's where it gets weird," Bulma said. "There's a third genetic component that doesn't match any known pattern. It's almost like, well, like divine coding, if such a thing existed. It acts as both binding agent and amplifier for the other two." On screen, Vegeta strained against his restraints. Kakarot. "I know you can hear me." Goku sighed. "I should talk to him." "Be careful," Rashi warned. "He doesn't seem the reasonable type." Inside the containment room, Vegeta glared as Goku entered. "Release me immediately." "Not until you explain some things," Goku said, pulling up a chair. "Starting with why you attacked me." Vegeta scoffed. "I needed to assess your power. Words mean nothing, combat reveals truth." "Fine. Then talk. What happened to the Saiyans and Kryptonians?" Something flickered in Vegeta's eyes, a brief glimpse of pain quickly masked by arrogance. "Both civilizations destroyed. Planet Vegeta by the tyrant Frieza. Krypton by its own unstable core. And why do you hate Kryptonians so much?" "Ancient enemies," Vegeta spat. "Self-righteous aliens who thought themselves above conquest. They interfered with Saiyan expansion for centuries. Then why was I created?" Goku asked the question that had been bothering him most. If the species were enemies, why create a hybrid? Vegeta was silent for a moment. "A peace attempt," he finally said. "Your father, Bardock, had visions of both worlds' destruction. He contacted a Kryptonian scientist named Jor-El, together they created you, the ultimate warrior combining both species' strengths, stabilized by God Ki drawn from the divine realm. For what purpose? Supposedly as living proof that cooperation was better than conflict. A symbol to unite our peoples." Vegeta's laugh was bitter. "Fat lot of good it did. Both planets were destroyed anyway, leaving only a handful of survivors scattered across the galaxy. Goku absorbed this. How many Saiyans survived?" 4, including you. Myself, Nappa, and Raditz. We work for Frieza now, conquering worlds in his name. And Kryptonians? Unknown. Rumored to be extinct except for you. Vegeta's eyes narrowed. Though there are whispers of a phantom zone where Krypton's worst criminals were imprisoned, a dimension that may have survived the planet's destruction. A chill ran down Goku's spine at those words, though he couldn't say why. "And why come find me now?" "Because Frieza has learned of your existence." Vegeta's expression darkened. The fusion of Saiyan and Kryptonian, enhanced by God Ki, it represents a potential threat to his rule. He sent us to evaluate you. And your verdict? You're stronger than you should be, considering your lack of proper training. Vegeta strained against his restraints again. But you've barely scratched the surface of your potential. Goku considered this. If I release you, will you attack me again? Vegeta's smile was predatory. Eventually. But not today. His expression became serious. Frieza is coming, Kakarot. And he's bringing something with him, Brainiac technology salvaged from Krypton's ruins. If you want to survive, you'll need my help. And why would you help me? Self-preservation, Vegeta replied simply. And perhaps Saiyan pride. Better you than Frieza. Goku studied him for a long moment before reaching a decision. He deactivated the restraints. Vegeta rubbed his wrists, then stood. Your training begins tomorrow. Be prepared to suffer. As they exited the containment room, Bulma rushed forward with a small device. Goku. The crystal, I figured out how to fully activate it. All eyes turned to the holographic projection that appeared. Two men, one in royal Kryptonian garb, the other in Saiyan armor, stood side by side. To whoever finds this message, the Kryptonian began, I am Jor-El of Krypton. This child is Kal-El, my son, merged with Saiyan DNA through a process developed with my colleague Bardock. We created him as living proof that our species can do more together than apart, the Saiyan continued. Our worlds face extinction, but he carries the best of both our legacies. The God Key infusion was successful, Jor-El said. It will help stabilize the hybrid cells and grant him access to divine power few mortals have wielded. If Frieza discovers what we've done, he will hunt the child, Bardock warned. And if General Zod escapes the Phantom Zone, he too will seek to destroy what we've created. But if you're watching this, Jor-El's image smiled, it means our son has survived. Earth's yellow sun will amplify his Kryptonian abilities beyond measure. His Saiyan heritage will grant him combat prowess and transformation potential. And the God Key, that power belongs to him alone to discover. Protect him, both men said in unison as the message began to break up. He is the last hope of, the hologram dissolved into static before reforming one final time. Your name is Kal-El, Jor-El said. But you are also Kakarot. Two legacies. One destiny. The message ended, leaving the room in silence. Well, Rashi finally said, that explains a few things. Goku stared at the space where his fathers had stood. I have to get stronger, he said quietly. Not just for me, but for them. For what they tried to create. Vegeta crossed his arms. Then we have work to do. As night fell over Capsule Corporation, Goku stood on the roof, looking up at the stars. Somewhere out there, Frieza was coming. And perhaps something worse waited in a place called the Phantom Zone. But for the first time since Grandpa Gohan's death, Goku didn't feel alone. He had friends, he had purpose, and he finally had answers about his origins. The three energies inside him, Saiyan, Kryptonian, and God Key, no longer felt like separate forces but aspects of a whole self waiting to be fully realized. I'm ready, he whispered to the stars, his eyes briefly flashing gold. Chapter 2, Dual Legacy, again. Vegeta barked, his face gleaming with sweat as he circled Goku in Capsule Corp's reinforced training chamber. 6 months had passed since the Saiyan Prince had entered Goku's life. 6 months of brutal training sessions, of pushing boundaries Goku hadn't known existed, of learning to access abilities buried in his hybrid DNA. I'm trying, Goku gritted through clenched teeth. Golden energy flickered around his body before dissipating like steam. It won't stabilize. Because you're thinking like a human. Vegeta launched forward, driving a knee into Goku's stomach that bent him double. Your God Key responds to emotion and intent, not technique. Stop trying to control it and just be it. Goku straightened, eyes flashing with frustration. 6 hours they'd been at this today. His muscles screamed for rest, but the Saiyan side of him refused to quit. The Kryptonian side constantly absorbed solar energy through the specially designed skylights Bulma had installed, giving him a seemingly endless reservoir of power. But the God Ki remained frustratingly elusive, appearing in golden flashes during moments of peak emotion before slipping away like water through his fingers. Maybe we need a different approach, he suggested, wiping blood from a split lip. There is no different approach. Vegeta snapped. Divine energy responds to one thing, necessity. Real necessity. A cruel smile spread across his face. Perhaps you need proper motivation. The prince raised his hand toward the observation window where Bulma stood monitoring their vitals. Energy gathered at his fingertips. What are you doing? Goku tensed. Creating necessity. The energy blast shot toward the window. Goku moved without thinking, faster than he'd ever moved before. Time seemed to slow as he intercepted the blast, catching it barehanded just inches from the reinforced glass. Pain seared through his palm as he struggled to contain the explosive force. His eyes met Vegeta's across the room, seeing the calculated gamble there. Fury rose in his chest, and with it, power. Golden light erupted around him, solidifying into a shimmering aura that cast the entire chamber in ethereal light. His hair lifted slightly, taking on a faint golden tinge. Most striking was the change in his eyes, they shifted between deep onyx, brilliant blue, and luminous gold, as all three aspects of his heritage surfaced simultaneously. Finally, Vegeta breathed, looking almost reverent for a moment before schooling his expression. Now hold it. Goku stood centered in his power, feeling the three energies synchronized for the first time without the chaos of battle. Saiyan combat instinct, Kryptonian solar absorption, and divine essence, balanced and unified. He could sense energy patterns he'd never perceived before, could feel the life force of everyone in Capsule Corp pulsing like stars in his awareness. What is this? He whispered, looking at his hands as golden energy danced between his fingers. The beginning, Vegeta said, approaching cautiously. A taste of what you were engineered to become. The word engineered sent a ripple through Goku's concentration, and the aura flickered. For all his newfound power, that aspect of his origin story still troubled him deeply. Not born, but created. A living peace treaty between warring species. The golden light faded completely as his thoughts spiraled, leaving him drained and suddenly ravenous. You lost focus, Vegeta observed, disappointment evident. Sorry, Goku said, sinking to one knee as fatigue hit him like a tidal wave. It's just, when you call me engineered. Vegeta studied him with unexpected perception. You think it makes you less real? Less alive? He scoffed. All Saiyan elites were genetically selected, Kakarot. I was engineered for royal bloodlines. The method of your creation doesn't change what you are. And what exactly am I? Goku looked up, genuine uncertainty in his eyes. A warrior, Vegeta said simply. Perhaps the greatest ever created. He extended a hand, helping Goku to his feet in a rare gesture of respect. Now let's eat. Even hybrid abominations need food. So you just, caught it? With your bare hand? Chi-Chi's eyes were wide as she set another plate of food before Goku, who was already halfway through his 8th serving. Yeah, he mumbled around a mouthful of rice. Didn't really think about it. Just moved. They sat at the kitchen table in Chi-Chi's father's castle. The Ox King watched with amusement as his daughter continued to feed the seemingly bottomless pit that was Goku's appetite. Since reuniting at the World Tournament, where Chi-Chi had competed and lasted surprisingly long against superhuman opponents, she had insisted on regular dinner dates, even if those dates mostly consisted of her cooking massive quantities of food while Goku ate and told stories of his training. That's incredible, she said, sitting down across from him. And terrifying. Vegeta was really going to blast Bulma? He says he wasn't, Goku shrugged. That he knew I'd stop it. Just trying to trigger the God Ki. By threatening to kill someone. Chi-Chi's eyes narrowed. I don't trust him. Neither do I, completely. Goku finally paused eating, meeting her gaze. But he knows things about me, about what I am, that nobody else does. Chi-Chi reached across the table, taking his hand. Unlike most people, she never flinched at his strength, never treated him as anything other than the man she cared for. I know who you are, Goku. Alien DNA and divine whatever aside. You're the boy who promised to marry me when we were kids. Goku blushed. That particular promise had been made before he understood what marriage was, but in the months since reconnecting with Chi-Chi, he'd found himself increasingly drawn to her fierce spirit and unwavering acceptance of his bizarre nature. About that, he began. You don't have to say anything, she interrupted, suddenly looking vulnerable. I know you have this whole last of two alien races thing going on, and enemies coming from space, and, Chi-Chi, he cut her off gently, squeezing her hand, carefully, always carefully. I want to marry you. If you'll still have me. Her expression transformed instantly, joy radiating from her like physical heat. Really? Even with everything happening? Especially with everything happening. Goku found himself smiling. Vegeta keeps talking about my purpose and destiny like I'm just some weapon. You're the only person who makes me feel normal. Human. Chi-Chi launched herself around the table, throwing her arms around his neck with enough force to knock over his chair. They landed in a heap on the floor, her laughter bright in his ears as she peppered his face with kisses. The Ox King cleared his throat awkwardly. I'll just, get started on the dishes. Later, as they walked beneath the stars, Chi-Chi linked her arm through his. So when Frieza comes, and he will, according to your prince friend, what happens? Goku looked up at the night sky, feeling both small and immensely powerful. We fight. We protect Earth. She raised an eyebrow. You're putting together a team then? He nodded. Krillin's already on board. Master Roshi too, though I'm not sure how much help he'll be against alien invaders. Bulma's working on technology that might give regular humans a fighting chance. And me? Chi-Chi asked, chin lifting with determination. I'm one of the strongest humans on the planet, you know. Goku's protective instincts warred with his respect for her abilities. It'll be dangerous, Chi-Chi, so is loving you, she countered. But I'm doing that anyway. He laughed, pulling her close. Fair enough. We start combat training tomorrow. Focus. Piccolo growled, hurling another energy blast that Krillin barely managed to deflect. Frieza won't give you time to admire his technique. The green-skinned warrior had been a surprising addition to what the others had started calling Earth Special Forces. Once Goku's most dangerous enemy, the Namekian had approached him 3 months into his training with Vegeta, sensing the growing power and offering an uneasy alliance against the coming threat. Give him a break, Yamcha called from the sidelines where he nursed a dislocated shoulder. We've been at this for 9 hours. And Frieza's been conquering worlds for centuries, Piccolo retorted, not breaking his assault on the exhausted monk. Time is a luxury we don't have. From his position floating cross-legged above their makeshift battleground, a barren wasteland far from civilization, Goku observed the training with mixed emotions. His human friends were pushing themselves beyond all reasonable limits to prepare for a threat they couldn't truly comprehend. Even with the enhancement devices Bulma had created, they remained painfully vulnerable compared to the power levels Vegeta described in Frieza's forces. They're going to get themselves killed, Vegeta commented, hovering up beside him. The prince had kept his distance from the human fighters, considering them beneath his notice. You realize that, don't you? They're stronger than you think, Goku defended, watching Chi-Chi execute a perfect combination against Tien, another recent recruit. Her movements were blindingly fast for a human, enhanced by the gravity training she'd insisted on joining. They're insects compared to what's coming, Vegeta said bluntly. Frieza's weakest soldiers could obliterate them with a gesture. Goku frowned. Then why are you helping us prepare at all? If it's so hopeless. Vegeta was silent for a moment, his eyes tracking the sparring matches below. Because of you, he finally admitted. Your potential, it might be enough. If these insects can buy you even seconds against Frieza, it could make the difference. The cold calculation in Vegeta's tone made Goku uncomfortable. They're not just distractions. They're my friends. Friendship, Vegeta scoffed. Another human weakness you've adopted. Is it? Goku turned to face him fully. You talk about Saiyan pride and strength, but your people were wiped out. The Kryptonians too. Maybe the weakness wasn't friendship but isolation. Standing apart instead of together. Something flashed in Vegeta's eyes, anger, certainly, but also a flicker of doubt. Before he could respond, Bulma's voice crackled through the communicators they all wore. Everyone get back to Capsule Corp now. The long-range scanners picked up something entering the solar system. The mood in Capsule Corp's command center was tense as they gathered around the main view screen. Dr. Brief's space monitoring system displayed a small object moving at impossible speeds toward Earth. Too small to be a warship, Vegeta observed, studying the readings. Probably a scout or advance messenger. Or a single warrior, Raditz suggested from his position near the door. The long-haired Saiyan had arrived 2 months earlier, bringing news that Nappa had disappeared from Frieza's forces under mysterious circumstances. Unlike Vegeta, Raditz had integrated somewhat with the humans, finding their planet's abundant food and willing women to his liking. Whatever it is, it'll reach Earth in approximately 3 hours, Bulma said, typing rapidly at her console. I've alerted global authorities to a potential meteorite on course for the Western Desert. That should keep civilians clear of the landing zone. We should intercept it before it lands, Piccolo suggested. Take the fight away from the planet if possible. Goku shook his head. No. We need to know what we're dealing with first. If it's Frieza himself. It's not, Vegeta interrupted confidently. Frieza wouldn't come alone, and never in such a small vessel. He travels with an armada befitting his status. Then we meet this visitor at the landing site, Goku decided. Everyone gear up. Full combat equipment. As the others dispersed to prepare, Goku felt a hand on his arm. Chi-Chi looked up at him, determination etched on her features. She had traded her usual dress for the combat gi she'd designed herself, black with the symbol for ox emblazoned in red on the back. Remember your promise, she said quietly. He nodded, remembering their conversation from the night before. I won't try to send you away from the fight. We face this together. Not that promise, she smiled. The one about coming back alive so we can get married next month. Goku pulled her close, inhaling the scent of her hair. That's a promise I definitely intend to keep. The alien pod streaked through Earth's atmosphere like a comet, leaving a blazing trail across the afternoon sky. Goku and the others watched from their position on a mesa overlooking the projected impact site, a vast expanse of empty desert. Impact in 30 seconds, Bulma announced, checking readings on a portable scanner. Unlike the others, she wore a prototype battle suit of her own design, an exoskeleton that enhanced her natural strength and provided limited energy projection capabilities. Remember the plan, Goku said to the assembled fighters. No one engages until we know what we're dealing with. Krillin, maintain the barrier shield. Yamcha and Tien, be ready for flanking maneuvers if this goes south. Piccolo, I know my role, the Namekian cut him off, his cape fluttering in the hot wind. The pod hit with tremendous force, sending a shockwave of dust and debris in all directions. Krillin immediately activated Bulma's barrier technology, projecting a dome of energy that protected them from the blast. When the dust settled, they could see a standard space pod design half buried in a smoking crater. For several tense moments, nothing happened. Maybe they died on impact. Yamcha suggested hopefully. The pod door exploded outward with such force that it embedded itself in a distant cliff face. A massive figure emerged, unfolding to a height that dwarfed even Piccolo. Bald and muscular, the giant wore modified Saiyan armor with unfamiliar embellishments. But what caught Goku's attention wasn't the armor or the size, it was the face. Nappa? Raditz whispered in shock. But, something's wrong. The giant looked up at their position, eyes scanning with mechanical precision. When his gaze locked on Goku, a cruel smile spread across his face. Target located, he announced in a voice that echoed unnaturally. Kakarot, son of Bardock, hybrid abomination. Surrender now. Vegeta stepped forward. Nappa. What is the meaning of this? You answer to me, not, I answer to General Zod now, the giant interrupted, his voice carrying strange harmonics. This body has been improved. Perfected. He tapped the side of his head where metal components were visible beneath the skin. The weaknesses of both races eliminated. A chill ran down Goku's spine. Both races? Correct, abomination. Nappa, or whatever he had become, began levitating out of the crater. Saiyans were strong but lacked discipline. Kryptonians were powerful but hampered by morality. I am neither handicapped. He's been fused with Kryptonian DNA, Vegeta realized aloud, his face paling. Just like you, but... Without the God Key to stabilize it, Goku finished, sensing the chaotic energy signature emanating from Nappa. His cells are barely holding together. Temporary inconvenience, Nappa Zod announced, reaching their plateau in a single bound that cracked the stone beneath his feet. Once I deliver you to General Zod, your divine essence will solve that problem. Goku stepped forward, motioning the others to stay back. Who is Zod? And what does he want with me? General Zod is Krypton's rightful ruler, the hybrid monstrosity replied. Imprisoned in the Phantom Zone by Jor-El for attempting to save Krypton through genetic purification. When Krypton exploded, the Phantom Zone fractured. The general escaped, only to find his world already gone. So he's out for revenge? Goku asked, trying to keep the creature talking while he assessed its power level. The energy signature was unlike anything he'd encountered, Saiyan and Kryptonian combined, but unstable, fluctuating wildly. Revenge. Restoration. Rebirth. Nappa Zod's eyes glowed red briefly. Your existence was meant to be a bridge between species. Instead, you will be the foundation of a new Krypton. I don't think so, Goku dropped into a fighting stance. I'm not going anywhere with you. The hybrid creature laughed, a sound that carried both Nappa's brutish roar and an unfamiliar cold edge. You misunderstand. This wasn't a request. He moved with shocking speed for his size, covering the distance between them in an eye blink. His fist connected with Goku's jaw, sending him flying through a nearby rock formation. Before the others could react, Nappa Zod fired eye beams similar to Goku's heat vision but tinged purple with Saiyan energy. Piccolo barely managed to deflect the beams, his arms smoking from the effort. Spread out. Don't make yourselves easy targets. Goku pulled himself from the rubble, wiping blood from his mouth. The blow had been stronger than anything Vegeta had thrown at him during training. This fusion of Saiyan and Kryptonian power, while unstable, was formidable. Chi-Chi, Krillin, execute pattern Delta, he shouted, launching back toward the battle. His friends moved with practiced coordination, Krillin projecting barrier shields at strategic points while Chi-Chi activated the solar amplifiers built into her armor. The devices, designed by Bulma, collected and redirected sunlight into concentrated beams that could temporarily blind enemies or boost Goku's Kryptonian energy absorption. A flash of brilliance hit Nappa Zod directly in the face, causing him to roar in pain. Goku used the opening to deliver a devastating combination, driving the hybrid warrior back with a series of blows that would have shattered mountains. The abomination has some fight, Nappa Zod growled, recovering quickly. Good. General Zod prefers his specimens robust. The battle escalated rapidly. Vegeta and Raditz joined the fray, attacking from opposite sides with coordinated energy blasts. Tien and Yamcha maintained distance, using the long-range weapons Bulma had designed to target the cybertronic components visible on Napazad's body. Despite their coordinated effort, the hybrid creature proved nearly unstoppable. He combined Nappa's brutal Saiyan fighting style with new abilities clearly derived from Kryptonian DNA, freezing breath that immobilized Piccolo's arm, heat vision that cut through Krillin's barriers, and flight speeds that created sonic booms as he moved. "We need to change terrain," Goku called out after a particularly devastating exchange left half their team struggling to stand. "Everyone fall back to position 2. They retreated strategically, drawing Napazad away from the desert toward the mountains where Bulma had prepared secondary defenses. The hybrid pursued relentlessly, laughing as he batted aside their attacks. "Running only delays the inevitable, abomination," he called after them. "Your friends will die tired instead of quickly." Goku gritted his teeth, feeling a familiar anger building inside him. The casual dismissal of his friends' lives triggered something primal in his Saiyan blood, while the threat to Earth awakened his Kryptonian protective instinct. And between them, the God Ki stirred. As they reached the mountain range, Bulma activated the first trap, massive focusing lenses hidden among the peaks redirected concentrated solar energy directly at Napazad. The hybrid roared as the yellow sunlight supercharged his unstable cells, causing them to bulge and ripple beneath his skin. "Interesting strategy," he growled, adapting quickly. "But Kryptonian solar absorption has been modified in this form. Observe." To their horror, he began channeling the excess solar energy into his hand, compressing it into a sphere of destructive power. "Catch!" He hurled the sphere at Yamcha, who couldn't move fast enough to dodge. "No!" Bulma screamed, her exosuit propelling her into the path of the blast. The energy sphere hit her defensive shields and exploded with enough force to send her crashing into the mountainside. "Bulma!" Yamcha rushed to her crumpled form while the others renewed their attack, fury giving their movements new intensity. Goku felt something shift inside him as he watched Bulma being carried to safety, injured but alive. This creature, this perversion of both his ancestral races, threatened everything and everyone he loved. The three energies within him began to synchronize, responding to his emotional state. "You want to take me to Zod," he called out, golden light beginning to shimmer around his body. "Then you'll have to do better than that." Napazad paused, sensors in his cybernetic implants detecting the change in Goku's energy signature. "The divine essence manifests," he observed with clinical interest. "Good. It will transfer more effectively when active." What followed was unlike any battle Earth had witnessed before. Goku, partially transformed with his God Ki flickering around him like golden flame, matched the hybrid creature blow for blow. Each impact created shockwaves that shattered nearby mountains. Their speed became nearly impossible to track, appearing as blurs and afterimages across the battlefield. "We need to help him," Chi-Chi shouted, trying to find an opening to join the fight. "No," Vegeta held her back, uncharacteristic concern in his expression. "They're moving too fast. You'd be killed instantly just by the backwash of their energy." The prince was right. The battle had escalated beyond what any normal fighter could contribute to. Even Piccolo and Vegeta, the strongest after Goku, could barely perceive the combatants' movements. High above the mountains, Goku and Napazad fought with increasingly devastating techniques. The hybrid creature manifested new abilities mid-battle, combining Saiyan energy projection with Kryptonian solar powers in ways that caught Goku by surprise. "Your potential is impressive, Abomination," Napazad commented during a brief pause, both fighters hovering thousands of feet above Earth. "But you lack discipline. You've never been properly trained in either heritage." "Maybe not," Goku admitted, blood streaming from several wounds. His GI was in tatters, revealing the gleaming skin beneath that seemed to absorb sunlight directly. "But I have something you don't." "And what's that?" the hybrid sneered. "Something worth fighting for." Goku's eyes shifted fully to gold as he spoke. And I'm not an abomination. I'm the bridge my fathers created, the best of both worlds, not a perversion like you. The God Ki surged fully awake at his declaration of identity, washing over him in waves of golden light. Unlike previous flashes of this power, this time Goku embraced it completely, not trying to control it but becoming one with it, as Vegeta had instructed. The transformation was breathtaking. His hair lifted upward, taking on a golden hue that matched the aura surrounding him. His muscles became more defined without bulking significantly. Most striking were his eyes, they held the depth of space itself, galaxies seemingly reflected in their golden blue depths. What is this? Napazad demanded, his sensors going haywire at the energy readings. Balance, Goku answered, his voice carrying harmonics that resonated across multiple frequencies. What you could never achieve through force or cybernetics. He moved forward at impossible speed, appearing directly before the hybrid before Napazad could react. With precise movements that combined Kryptonian efficiency and Saiyan combat instinct, Goku systematically dismantled his opponent's defenses. Each strike targeted the unstable fusion points where Saiyan and Kryptonian cells conflicted. Each energy pulse disrupted the cybernetic interfaces keeping the hybrid functional. It wasn't just combat, it was surgery, performed with divine precision. This isn't possible, Napazad gasped as his systems began failing. The calculations, the generals. Predictions. Your general doesn't understand what I am, Goku said, his voice almost compassionate despite the violence of his actions. I'm not just Saiyan. Not just Kryptonian. I'm something new. With a final, devastating combination, Goku separated the cybernetic components from Nappa's organic tissue, effectively shutting down the hybrid fusion. The massive Saiyan dropped from the sky, his body returning to something closer to its original form as the Kryptonian elements deactivated. Goku caught him before he hit the ground, gently lowering the unconscious warrior to the earth where the others waited. Is he dead? Krillin asked hesitantly. No, Goku answered, his golden aura fading slowly as he powered down. Just freed from whatever they did to him. Vegeta approached cautiously, examining his former comrade with a mixture of disgust and pity. They hollowed him out. Used his body as a vessel. His fists clenched. Frieza must have sold him to this Zod character. Can he be restored? Raditz asked, genuine concern breaking through his usually gruff demeanor. Bulma limped forward, supported by Yamcha. Despite her injuries, her scientific curiosity was fully engaged. The cybernetics are unlike anything I've seen, but, maybe. With time and the right equipment. Then we take him back to Capsule Corp, Goku decided. And learn everything we can about what Zod did to him. Because this was just the beginning. 3 days later, Goku stood in Capsule Corp's medical wing, watching Bulma work on the still sedated Nappa. The massive Saiyan was connected to various machines, some monitoring his condition, others actively removing the alien technology embedded in his body. How's it going? He asked as Bulma set down a micro-tool and stretched her back. Slowly, she admitted. Whatever this Zod did to him, it's beyond even my understanding. The integration between Kryptonian DNA, Saiyan biology, and cybernetic components is, well, it would be beautiful if it weren't so horrifying. Goku frowned. Can you reverse it? Not completely. The DNA modifications are permanent, he'll always be part Kryptonian now. But I've disabled the control mechanisms and removed the most invasive components. She gestured to a tray of extracted tech. This stuff is incredible, Goku. Centuries beyond Earth technology. Or current Kryptonian tech, came a voice from the doorway. Vegeta entered, arms crossed over his chest as usual. Remember, if this Zod was imprisoned in the Phantom Zone, he might have technology from Krypton's past. Before Jor-El's era. That's not comforting, Bulma muttered, returning to her work. Vegeta jerked his head toward the hallway, indicating Goku should follow. Once they were alone, the prince's expression became grave. We have a problem. Raditz managed to extract some memory fragments from Nappa's cybernetic components. It seems this General Zod has established a base in the ruins of planet Vegeta. Goku blinked in surprise. I thought it was destroyed. It was. But large fragments remained, asteroids the size of continents. Zod has apparently gathered these pieces and created a makeshift world in the heart of the debris field. Vegeta's jaw tightened. He's desecrating what remains of my home. Did you find out why he wants me? Yes. Vegeta's eyes met his directly. Your God Key. It's the key to stabilizing his hybrid creations. Without it, the Saiyan Kryptonian fusions break down within weeks, requiring constant maintenance. Nappa was one of dozens he's created, failed experiments sent to capture you. Goku absorbed this, feeling a strange mix of emotions. So I'm not just a bridge between species. I'm a battery for creating more hybrids. Essentially. And that's not all. Vegeta hesitated, which was so unusual it immediately alarmed Goku. The memory suggests Zod is working with someone. Someone who provided him with Saiyan test subjects. Frieza, Goku guessed. Vegeta nodded grimly. An alliance of convenience. Frieza supplies Saiyans from his remaining troops. Zod provides Kryptonian technology. Together, they create soldiers loyal to both. His expression darkened further. And they're coming, Kakarot. Soon. Before Goku could respond, a commotion erupted from the medical bay. They rushed back to find Nappa awake and disoriented, his massive hands wrapped around Bulma's throat as she struggled. Nappa, stop. Vegeta commanded, rushing forward. The giant Saiyan blinked in confusion, slowly releasing Bulma. Prince Vegeta, he rumbled, his voice ragged but his own again. What happened to me? You were captured and modified, Vegeta explained as Bulma gasped for air, retreating to a safe distance. Do you remember anything? Nappa's face contorted with effort. Fragments. A cold place. Pain. A man with a beard speaking about purification. His massive hand rose to his head. And voices. Always voices in my mind, giving commands. Zod, Goku said. General Zod. At the name, Nappa visibly flinched. Yes. He was inside my head. Making me do things. Hunt. His eyes suddenly focused on Goku, recognition dawning. You. I was sent to capture you. Do you know why? Your energy. It stabilizes the fusion process. Nappa's expression became haunted. I watched them create others like me. Most died screaming as their cells rejected each other. The ones who survived were wrong. Empty shells following orders. Goku exchanged a look with Vegeta. The situation was worse than they'd feared. How many? Vegeta demanded. How many successful hybrids has Zod created? Dozens by the time I was sent here. Maybe more now. Nappa struggled to sit up. And he has something else. A machine. Something he called Brainiac. It helps him manipulate genetics, predict outcomes. Kryptonian AI technology, Bulma murmured, her scientific curiosity overriding her recent fear. Jor-El mentioned it in the crystal recordings. How long do we have, Nappa? Goku asked. Before they come for Earth. The giant Saiyans' expression was grim. They're already on their way. The revelation of imminent invasion accelerated their preparations. Bulma worked around the clock, adapting recovered Kryptonian technology from Nappa's cybernetics into weapons and defenses. World governments were quietly alerted to the threat, though few believed the warning about alien invaders. 2 weeks after Nappa's awakening, Goku stood on Capsule Corp's roof beneath the stars, attempting to clear his mind. The constant training, planning, and preparation had left little time for reflection, but tonight, something had drawn him to solitude. "Thought I'd find you up here," Chi-Chi said, emerging from the access door. She wore simple training clothes, her hair pulled back in a practical ponytail. "You missed dinner." "Sorry," he smiled apologetically. "Lost track of time." She joined him at the edge, following his gaze to the stars. "Looking for them?" "Trying to feel them," he admitted. "Vegeta's been teaching me to extend my senses, to detect power levels at greater distances." "And?" "Nothing yet." He sighed. "But they're coming. Everyone's counting on me to stop them, Chi-Chi, because of what I am." She studied his profile in the moonlight. "You're worried about more than just the invasion, aren't you?" Goku was silent for a long moment. "I keep thinking about what I learned from Nappa Zod and the crystal. I wasn't born, Chi-Chi, I was engineered. Created in a lab to serve a purpose. So." He blinked at her matter-of-fact response. "So, doesn't that bother you? That I'm not natural?" Chi-Chi actually laughed, the sound bright in the night air. "Goku, nothing about you has ever been natural since the day I met you. You lift mountains for warm-up exercises. You shoot lasers from your eyes. You can fly." She took his hand. "Finding out you were created intentionally instead of accidentally doesn't change who you are." "But what if who I am is just programming?" he persisted. "What if everything I feel, everything I want, was engineered into me?" Chi-Chi's expression softened. "Is that what's really bothering you? That your feelings aren't real?" He nodded, unable to find words for the existential doubt that had plagued him since learning the truth of his origins. "Goku, look at me." She turned his face toward hers. "Do you love me?" "Yes," he answered without hesitation. "How does it feel when you look at me?" He considered this seriously. "Warm. Happy. Like I want to protect you, but also like I'm proud of how strong you are on your own. Like I want to be near you all the time." "And do you think Jor-El and Bardock programmed fall in love with an Ox King's daughter into your DNA?" she asked with a small smile. "Well, no, but your origins explain your abilities, Goku. They don't define your choices." She placed a hand over his heart. "This is yours. Not theirs. Not Zod's or Frisia's. Yours." The simplicity and certainty of her words washed over him like a cleansing wave. Chi-Chi had always had this effect on him, cutting through cosmic complexity with human clarity. He pulled her close, carefully moderating his strength as he always did with her. "I don't deserve you." "Probably not," she agreed with a teasing smile. "But you're stuck with me anyway." Their moment of peace was interrupted by Bulma's voice over the compound's communication system. "Everyone to the command center immediately. Long-range scanners have detected multiple objects entering the solar system." The command center was already filled with their assembled fighters when Goku and Chi-Chi arrived. The main screen showed multiple red dots approaching Earth's orbit. 6 ships, Bulma reported. 5 smaller vessels surrounding one much larger craft. Based on their current trajectory and speed, they'll reach Earth in approximately 12 hours. "That's not an invasion fleet," Vegeta observed, studying the formation. "That's an escort for someone important." "Zod," Goku said with certainty. "Or Frisia," Raditz countered. "Either way, we're outnumbered and outgunned." Nappa, now partially recovered and freed from Zod's control, stepped forward. His massive frame was still riddled with scars where cybernetic components had been removed, but his mind was his own again. "Not necessarily outnumbered," he said. "Most of Zod's hybrid soldiers are unstable. In prolonged combat, their cellular structure begins to break down. Without regular treatments from the Brainiac system, they're vulnerable. And Frisia never dirties his own hands if he can avoid it," Vegeta added. "He'll send his elite forces first to wear us down. Then we need to change the battlefield," Goku decided. Draw them somewhere away from population centers, somewhere that gives us an advantage. Piccolo, who had been silently observing until now, spoke up. I know a place. The sacred realm of Corinne. Multiple environments in a concentrated area, deserts, forests, ice fields, all within miles of each other. Perfect, Goku nodded. Bulma, can you send a transmission to the incoming ships? Let them know where to find us. Already on it, she confirmed, typing rapidly. But Goku, what's our actual strategy here? Even with your God Ki transformation, you can't fight an entire invasion force alone. He won't be alone, Vegeta declared, surprising everyone. The Prince of all Saiyans fights alongside Kakarot against these desecrators. As do I, Piccolo added. One by one, the others voiced their commitment, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, Kaiotsu, Raditz, Nappa, and finally Chi-Chi, who gave Goku a look that brooked no argument about her participation. All right then, Goku said, feeling a swell of gratitude for these warriors who had become his family. We have 12 hours to prepare the battleground. Let's make them count. The sacred realm of Corinne spanned thousands of acres of varied terrain centered around an impossibly tall tower. Once used exclusively for training the world's greatest martial artists, today it would serve as humanity's last defense against alien invasion. Krillin, Yamcha, the barrier generators need to be placed at these coordinates, Bulma instructed, passing them specialized equipment. They'll create choke points that funnel their forces where we want them. Tien, Kaiotsu, take the high ground here and here, Goku pointed to elevated positions on their tactical map. Your solar flare technique, combined with Bulma's amplifiers, could temporarily blind even Kryptonian hybrids. The preparations continued through the night, each fighter contributing according to their strengths. Piccolo and Vegeta worked together, grudgingly, to set energy traps throughout the forest sector. Raditz and Nappa, with their intimate knowledge of Frisia's tactics, established ambush points. Chi-Chi supervised the placement of solar reflectors, specialized mirrors designed to redirect and concentrate sunlight to specific areas. These will give Goku power boosts when he needs them most, she explained to the others. As dawn broke, casting long shadows across their makeshift command post, Bulma's equipment began beeping urgently. They've entered Earth's atmosphere. ETA 3 minutes. Goku looked around at the assembled warriors, his friends, his family by choice if not blood. Whatever happens today, I want you all to know, save the speech, Kakarot, Vegeta interrupted. Tell us how great we are after we've won. Goku laughed despite the tension. Fair enough. Everyone to positions. They scattered to their assigned locations just as the sky darkened with the approach of alien vessels. 5 smaller ships formed a pentagonal pattern around a massive central craft easily 10 times their size. They hovered ominously before the central ship extended landing gear and descended to the desert floor. The others remained airborne, positioned for orbital support. The massive ship's hull seemed to ripple with geometric patterns that shifted and changed, reminding Goku of the symbols on his own pod. A ramp extended from its underside, and 2 figures emerged. The first was unmistakably Frisia, small in stature but radiating malevolent power, his white and purple bioarmor gleaming in the morning sun. Beside him walked a taller figure in ornate black armor bearing a stylized crest. His beard was precisely trimmed, his bearing military, his eyes cold and calculating. General Zod, I presume, Goku called out, hovering down from his observation point to land 30 yards from the visitors. Vegeta and Piccolo flanked him, with the others hidden in strategic positions around the battlefield. Kal-El, Zod responded, using his Kryptonian name. Son of Jor-El. Last of your kind, or first of a new kind, depending on one's perspective. His gaze was analytical, assessing. You look very little like your father. I wouldn't know, Goku replied evenly. Never met him. A shame. Jor-El was brilliant, if misguided. Zod clasped his hands behind his back, adopting a lecture posture. He believed Krypton could be saved through cooperation with lesser species. I tried to save it through purification and strength. Seems like you both failed, Goku observed. Frieza chuckled, the sound chilling. I like this monkey's directness, General. So refreshing compared to your usual speeches. Zod's expression tightened minutely, the only indication that he found Frieza's comment distasteful. History will determine who truly failed. Kal-El, Krypton's physical form may be gone, but its essence, its genetic superiority, can still be preserved. Through your hybrid soldiers? Goku asked. Forcing Saiyan and Kryptonian DNA together. A crude beginning, Zod admitted. But with your divine essence to stabilize the process, we can perfect it. Create a new race of Kryptonians enhanced with Saiyan combat instinct. And what do you get out of this arrangement? Goku directed this question to Frieza. The galactic tyrant's smile was reptilian. 20% of the resulting army, naturally. Plus exclusive mining rights to the remains of Krypton, a substance called kryptonite has proven useful in certain applications. Goku processed this, understanding the cold calculation behind their alliance. Zod needed Saiyan test subjects and a way to capture Goku. Frieza needed Kryptonian technology to maintain his galactic empire. Neither trusted the other, but both were willing to cooperate temporarily. And if I refuse to help you? He asked, already knowing the answer. Then we take what we need by force, Zod stated simply. Your cooperation would be preferable, less wasteful of valuable genetic material, but not essential. We've already begun preliminary extraction experiments, Frieza added with malicious pleasure. Quite painful for the subject, I understand. Goku's expression hardened. I'll never help you create living weapons. As expected, Zod sighed, almost regretfully. Jor-El's ethical constraints expressing themselves in the offspring. He raised a hand, signaling to the ships above. Commence acquisition protocol. From the orbiting vessels, drop pods began falling like metallic rain. Each pod crashed into the landscape with precision, immediately disgorging its occupant, hybrid soldiers similar to what Nappa had been, but with varying appearances suggesting different genetic combinations. Simultaneously, the main ship's lower bay opened, releasing Frieza's elite forces, the Jinyu Special Squadron, alongside dozens of standard troops. Now! Goku shouted. The battle erupted across multiple fronts simultaneously. Krillin and Yamcha activated the barrier generators, creating energy fields that separated the battlefield into manageable sections. Tien and Kaiotsu, from their elevated positions, unleashed coordinated solar flare techniques, temporarily blinding the first wave of hybrids. Piccolo and Vegeta engaged Frieza's Jinyu force, their disparate fighting styles complementing each other surprisingly well. Nappa and Raditz, intimately familiar with Frieza's standard troops, tore through them with vengeance for years of servitude fueling their attacks. Goku faced Zod directly, moving at speeds that made him nearly invisible to normal perception. The Kryptonian general matched his pace, revealing combat training that spanned centuries. Impressive, Zod commented as they exchanged devastating blows that shook the landscape. Your Saiyan instincts serve you well. But you lack formal Kryptonian combat training. He demonstrated his point by executing a complex grappling maneuver that Goku had never encountered, using leverage and pressure points to momentarily immobilize him before driving him into the ground with enough force to create a crater. Goku recovered quickly, adapting to the new technique. Fast learner though, he grinned, reversing the same move against Zod on his next attempt. Across the battlefield, Chi-Chi activated the first solar reflector array, redirecting concentrated sunlight directly at Goku. The Kryptonian half of his biology absorbed the radiation instantly, supercharging his cells. He felt the surge of power and channeled it into a devastating heat vision blast that Zod barely managed to counter with his own. Clever, Zod acknowledged. Using Earth's yellow sun to your advantage. But I've had decades to adapt my biology to solar absorption. He demonstrated by flying straight up, absorbing direct sunlight, then diving back with doubled strength. Their combat escalated, moving through different environmental zones of the sacred realm. In the forest, Goku used the dense vegetation for cover, employing guerrilla tactics against Zod's more direct approach. In the ice fields, he discovered his freeze breath could be combined with Saiyan energy projection to create explosive ice shards that penetrated even Kryptonian defenses. Meanwhile, Frieza observed the battle from his ship, occasionally firing precisely targeted death beams at Earth's defenders when they seemed to be gaining advantage. One such beam caught Yamcha in the shoulder, spinning him around and disabling one of the barrier generators. Yamcha! Bulma cried out, her exosuit propelling her to his position. She dragged him to cover while returning fire with the suit's weapon systems. With one barrier down, Frieza's forces began to overwhelm that sector. Krillin, despite fighting valiantly, found himself surrounded by hybrid soldiers. Just as they closed in, an unexpected energy blast cut through their ranks. "Need a hand, Baldy?" Vegeta called out, having dispatched his own opponents. The Saiyan Prince waded into the fight, his movements precise and lethal. Across the battlefield, similar scenes played out, moments of near defeat reversed by timely assistance. Piccolo saving Tien from a Ginyu Force member's attack. Raditz pulling Chi-Chi from the path of a collapsing structure. Earth's defenders, despite their differences, fighting as a unified force. Above it all, Goku and Zod continued their increasingly destructive duel. They had moved beyond physical combat to energy manipulation, each trying to overpower the other with their respective abilities. Zod's experience showed in his perfect technique, while Goku's adaptability allowed him to continuously evolve his fighting style. "You cannot win this, Kal-El," Zod declared after a particularly vicious exchange left both bleeding and battered. "Even if you defeat me personally, my forces will extract what we need from your broken body." "You still don't understand what you're fighting against," Goku replied, wiping blood from his mouth. "I'm not just Kryptonian or Saiyan." "The God Ki," Zod nodded. "Yes, I'm counting on it manifesting fully during our battle. It will make extraction much more efficient." "Not that either," Goku shook his head. "Something more important." He gestured to the battlefield below where his friends fought with unbreakable determination. "Them. Earth. Home." Zod's expression darkened with genuine confusion. "You consider this primitive planet your home? These weaklings your people?" "They're my family," Goku corrected. "Something you forgot when you tried to purify Krypton. Real strength comes from diversity, not uniformity. From choice, not control." "Idealistic nonsense," Zod dismissed. "Power is the only truth that matters." "Then let me show you real power." Goku closed his eyes briefly, centering himself in the lesson Vegeta had taught him months ago. He stopped trying to control the God Ki and simply became it, allowing the divine essence to flow through his Saiyan combat instinct and Kryptonian solar energy in perfect harmony. The transformation came more easily this time. Golden light erupted around him, his hair lifting and taking on the same radiant hue. His eyes opened, revealing that otherworldly gold-blue gaze that seemed to contain galaxies. Zod actually took a step back, genuine awe briefly overriding his military discipline. "Magnificent," he whispered. "Jor-El's greatest achievement." "No," Goku's voice carried those harmonic overtones that suggested multiple voices speaking as one. "I'm not just Jor-El's creation. Or Bardock's. I'm my own person. Shaped by Earth. By Grandpa Gohan. By everyone who's ever believed in me." He moved with divine speed, appearing before Zod faster than the general could track. The blow he delivered contained perfectly balanced Saiyan power and Kryptonian precision, enhanced by God Ki to a level that transcended physical limitations. Zod went flying backward, crashing through multiple rock formations before impacting his own ship with enough force to dent its hull. The general pulled himself from the wreckage, genuine alarm now visible on his face. "Brainiac," he shouted. "Initiate Acquisition Protocol Omega." The ship's exterior rippled, geometric patterns shifting to focus on Goku. A beam of energy unlike anything they'd encountered before shot forth, enveloping him in crackling purple light. Goku! Chi-Chi screamed, running toward him despite the danger. Inside the energy field, Goku felt something invasive probing his cells, attempting to extract the divine essence that stabilized his hybrid DNA. The pain was beyond anything he'd experienced, not physical but existential, as if his very self was being unraveled. Resistance is futile, Kal-El, Zod called out, approaching the immobilized warrior. Brainiac technology can isolate and extract specific genetic sequences without damaging the original organism. Your God Ki will serve the rebirth of Krypton. Through the haze of pain, Goku became aware of his friends fighting desperately to reach him. Chi-Chi had rallied the others, targeting the ship's external beam emitters. Vegeta and Piccolo were tag-teaming Frieza, keeping the tyrant occupied while the others attempted rescue. Something stirred deep within Goku, not just determination or courage, but understanding. In this moment of crisis, the final barrier between his fragmented heritage dissolved. He wasn't Saiyan with Kryptonian additions, or Kryptonian with Saiyan enhancements. He wasn't even those 2+ God Ki. He was simply himself. Whole and complete. The realization manifested physically. The golden aura surrounding him intensified, becoming so bright it was painful to look upon. The Brainiac beam flickered, its extraction protocols encountering something it couldn't categorize or contain. Impossible, Zod muttered, checking readings on a wrist device. The divine essence is evolving. Adapting. With a roar that shook the earth, Goku broke free of the containment beam. His transformation had progressed beyond the initial stage, his hair now stood more rigidly upright, golden energy crackling around his body. Like lightning. His expression was serene despite the awesome power radiating from him. It's over, Zod, he stated simply. Call off your forces. The Kryptonian general stared in disbelief before his military discipline reasserted itself. Never. Brainiac, full offensive deployment. The ship above them transformed, sections reconfiguring into massive weapons arrays. Simultaneously, Frieza broke away from his battle with Vegeta and Piccolo, rising into the air with a sphere of destructive energy growing between his hands. If I can't have the monkey's power, no one will, the tyrant declared. I'll destroy this entire planet. The dual threat forced an instant decision. Goku looked between Zod's ship powering up its weapons and Frieza's growing death ball, calculating that he couldn't neutralize both simultaneously. Vegeta, he called out. The ship. The Saiyan Prince understood immediately. Drawing on reserves of power he'd been holding back, Vegeta transformed into his own version of the Super Saiyan form, not divine like Goku's, but formidable nonetheless. With pleasure, he shouted, launching himself toward Zod's vessel with hands cupped at his side. Final flash. The devastating beam of energy struck the ship's primary weapons array just as it prepared to fire, causing a catastrophic chain reaction. Explosions rippled across its surface as Brainiac's systems overloaded. Meanwhile, Goku faced Frieza, whose death ball had grown to massive proportions. You can't stop this, monkey. Frieza laughed maniacally. It has enough power to turn your precious Earth into cosmic dust. You're right, Goku acknowledged calmly. I can't stop it. His eyes shifted fully to divine gold. But I can redirect it. As Frieza hurled the death ball downward, Goku shot upward to intercept it. Instead of attempting to block or deflect the massive energy sphere, he enveloped it with his divine aura, maintaining its integrity while changing its trajectory. With a mighty heave, he sent the death ball hurtling toward Zod's already damaged ship. The twin catastrophes, Vegeta's final flash and Frieza's own attack, combined to create an explosion that momentarily outshone the sun itself. When the light faded, nothing remained of the massive vessel except scattered debris raining down harmlessly through the atmosphere. Zod himself stood on the battlefield, protected by his own Kryptonian durability but clearly shocked by the destruction of his ship and the Brainiac system it contained. Frisia hovered in the air, stunned by the redirection of his attack. His surprise quickly transformed to rage. "You dare," he screeched, his body beginning to transform into a more powerful state. "It's over, Frisia," Goku called up to him. "Your alliance is finished. Your elite forces are defeated." It was true, across the battlefield, the combined efforts of Earth's defenders had overwhelmed both the Jinyu force and the hybrid soldiers. Without regular stabilization from the Brainiac system, the hybrids were already beginning to deteriorate, their merged cells rejecting each other. "Nothing is over until I say it is." Frisia screamed, completing his transformation to his final form, sleeker, more powerful, radiating malevolent energy. "I am the Emperor of the Universe." He dived toward Goku with unprecedented speed, but the Divine Warrior was prepared. Their clash created a shockwave that flattened the surrounding landscape for miles. The battle that followed was beyond the perception of most observers, only Vegeta and Piccolo could track their movements as they fought across multiple dimensions of space. Zod, seeing Frisia fully engaged, attempted to escape to one of the smaller ships still orbiting above. He didn't make it 3 steps before finding his path blocked by Chi-Chi, Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien. "Going somewhere?" Chi-Chi asked, dropping into a fighting stance. The general's lip curled in disdain. "Humans," he spat. "Stepping aside now would be your wisest course of action." "Not happening," Krillin replied. Solar flare. Formation. The 4 fighters executed a perfectly synchronized solar flare technique, amplified by Bulma's technology to create a blast of concentrated sunlight directly into Zod's eyes. The Kryptonian general reeled backward, temporarily blinded. "Special beam cannon." Piccolo shouted, having positioned himself behind Zod during the distraction. The spiral energy beam struck the general directly in the back, piercing even his Kryptonian durability. Zod fell to one knee, blood streaming from the wound. "Impossible," he gasped. "Defeated by humans." "And Namekian," Piccolo corrected, charging another blast. Above them, the battle between Goku and Frisia reached its climax. The tyrant, despite his increased power, found himself outmatched by Goku's divine transformation. Each of his techniques was countered, each strategy anticipated. "What are you?" Frisia demanded after a particularly devastating exchange left him wounded and panting. "I told you," Goku replied, his voice calm despite the battle's intensity. "I'm the bridge, Saiyan, Kryptonian, and something more. But mostly, I'm Earth's protector." With movements too fast for Frisia to counter, Goku executed a combination attack drawing on all aspects of his heritage, Saiyan power, Kryptonian precision, and divine energy. The Kamehameha that followed was unlike any before, golden energy spiraling around a core of pure white light. Frisia attempted to block it with his own death beam, but the disparity in power was too great. Goku's attack overwhelmed the tyrant's defenses, engulfing him completely. When the energy dissipated, Frisia remained, alive but severely injured, his body reverted to its base form. Goku descended to where the defeated Emperor lay. "It's over," he said simply. "Leave Earth and never return." "You think this ends anything?" Frisia coughed, blood speckling his lips. "I rule 1,000 worlds. I have armies beyond counting. And now they'll know you were defeated," Vegeta interrupted, landing beside Goku. "By a Saiyan." Fury and hatred contorted Frisia's features, but he lacked the strength to act on it. One of his smaller ships descended rapidly, retrieving its master before accelerating back to orbit and disappearing. With Frisia's retreat, all resistance collapsed. The remaining hybrid soldiers, without Brainiac stabilization, were rapidly deteriorating into cellular failure. Zod alone remained defiant, though severely wounded and surrounded. "What will you do with me, Kal-El?" he asked as Goku approached. "Kill me as your father should have done." "No," Goku replied, powering down from his divine form. That's not who I am. Then imprisonment. There is no cell on this primitive world that could hold me once I recover. Bulma stepped forward, a small crystal device in her hand. Actually, we have something special in mind. She activated the device, creating a shimmering portal in the air beside them. The Phantom Zone. Zod recoiled in genuine fear for the first time. How? The projector technology was lost with Krypton. Not entirely, Bulma explained. We found the coordinates and specifications in your ship's database before it was destroyed. Turns out creating an entrance is much easier than escaping. You can't do this, Zod struggled to his feet despite his injuries. I am Krypton's last hope. No, Goku corrected. You're its past. Its mistakes. I'm its future, along with whatever other Kryptonians might have survived. Before Zod could respond, Piccolo and Vegeta moved in unison, pushing the general through the portal. His scream of rage was cut short as the dimensional gateway sealed behind him. Silence fell across the battlefield as the remaining Earth defenders gathered, battered but victorious. The orbital ships, without leadership, began retreating into deep space. Did we just win? Krillin asked incredulously. For now, Vegeta cautioned. Frieza will return, with greater forces. And we'll be ready, Goku assured them all. Together. As they made their way back toward their makeshift command post, Chi-Chi fell in step beside Goku, taking his hand. So that's one crisis averted. Does this mean we can finally have that wedding? He laughed, lifting her into a gentle embrace. Nothing would make me happier. Good, she said firmly. Because I've already sent out invitations for next Saturday. The wedding was a small affair by Ox King standards, which still meant over 200 guests. Held in a valley near Goku's mountain home, it brought together warriors, scientists, royalty, and ordinary friends in celebration not just of the Union, but of Earth's continued existence. Bulma had outdone herself with the reception, using recovered alien technology to create floating lanterns that changed color in response to guests' emotions. The overall effect was a sea of warm, joyful hues surrounding the dance floor where Chi-Chi was attempting to teach Goku the traditional steps to their first dance. Left foot, then right, she instructed patiently. No, your other left. Fighting multiple alien invaders was easier than this, he complained good-naturedly, earning a playful swat from his new bride. From his position near the refreshment table, Vegeta observed the festivities with his usual scowl, though perhaps slightly less severe than normal. Bulma approached, offering him a glass of champagne. You could try enjoying yourself, you know, she suggested. We did save the world last week. Temporarily, he reminded her, though he accepted the drink. Frieza will return, more determined than ever. And we'll be ready, she replied confidently. The technology we recovered from Zod's ship has advanced my research by decades. The new generation of battle suits will be ready within months. Vegeta studied her with grudging respect. You're not like other humans, are you? Neither are you like other Saiyans, she countered with a knowing smile before moving on to check on Yamcha, whose arm remained in a sling from the battle. Across the reception, Piccolo stood apart as usual, though he had surprised everyone by actually attending. Goku spotted him and excused himself from the dance floor, much to Chi-Chi's relief, to join his former enemy. Didn't think celebrations were your thing, he commented, leaning against the tree beside the Namekian. They're not, Piccolo confirmed. But I wanted to speak with you privately. About? During your battle with Frieza, when you achieved the full divine transformation. I sensed something. Piccolo's expression was uncharacteristically uncertain. A connection to something beyond this dimension. Something I've only felt in deep meditation. Goku nodded slowly. I felt it too. Like I was touching something greater. The source of the God Key, maybe. Whatever it was, it marks you as something unique, Goku. Piccolo used his Earth name deliberately. Not just a hybrid of alien species, but a bridge between mortal and divine realms. Great, Goku sighed dramatically. More responsibility. Piccolo actually smiled slightly. For what it's worth, I can think of worse beings to wield such power. Their conversation was interrupted by a commotion at the edge of the reception. Raditz and Nappa, both somewhat awkwardly dressed in Earth formal wear, had arrived with an unexpected guest, a small boy with a monkey tail, perhaps 4 years old. Kakarot. Raditz called out, waving his brother over. Look what we found exploring your old crash site. Goku approached curiously, Chi-Chi right behind him. The child looked up at them with wide, innocent eyes that seemed strangely familiar. Who is this? Chi-Chi asked, immediately kneeling to the boy's level. We think he's a relative, Nappa explained. We detected a faint energy signature similar to Kakarot's at the original pod crash site. Buried deep, there was a secondary compartment. Inside was this kid, in some kind of suspended animation. The readings suggest he's genetically related to you, Raditz added. Perhaps a backup experiment? Or a control subject to compare against your hybrid design. Goku knelt beside Chi-Chi, studying the child who regarded him with curiosity rather than fear. Something about those eyes. What's your name? He asked gently. The boy tilted his head. Gohan, he answered in a small voice. Goku's heart skipped a beat. Gohan. Like my grandfather? The stasis pod contained educational programming, Raditz explained. Apparently including information about your Earth upbringing. Is he? Chi-Chi hesitated, looking between the boy and her new husband. Is he like you? A hybrid? Not exactly, Raditz consulted a small device in his hand. Preliminary genetic analysis suggests he's Saiyan human, not Saiyan Kryptonian. But he does have traces of the divine essence, much less than Kakarot, but definitely present. How is that possible? Goku wondered aloud. Perhaps your fathers created more than one bridge, Vegeta suggested, having approached quietly. Different combinations for different purposes. Chi-Chi, meanwhile, had completely fallen in love with the solemn little boy. Well, whoever made him and whatever he is, he's family now, she declared, taking the child's small hand in hers. Aren't you, Gohan? The boy smiled shyly, nodding. Goku felt something shift inside him, a new purpose taking shape alongside his role as Earth's defender. This child, this unexpected gift from his mysterious origins, represented a future he hadn't dared imagine. Family, he agreed, ruffling the boy's hair. Definitely family. As the reception continued around them, Goku found himself drawn to a quiet moment of reflection. He gazed up at the stars, thinking of the fathers he'd never known but who had given him so much, not just power or abilities, but purpose. They had created him as a bridge between worlds, between species, between mortal and divine. And now, with Chi-Chi, with this unexpected child, with his friends and allies, he was building something even more important, a future where those bridges would matter. Where Earth would stand as proof that strength came from unity, not division. Penny for your thoughts. Chi-Chi asked, finding him at the edge of the celebration. Just thinking about bridges, he smiled, pulling her close. And how sometimes they lead to places you never expected. Above them, a shooting star traced a brilliant path across the night sky. To most wedding guests, it was a good omen. But Goku's enhanced vision recognized the distinctive energy signature of a Kryptonian vessel entering Earth's atmosphere. The bridge between worlds was growing wider. Chapter 3, Convergent Power, Higher, Daddy. Higher. Goku laughed as he tossed his 5-year-old son into the air, the boy's delighted squeals echoing across the mountain valley they called home. Gohan's tail whipped excitedly behind him as he soared 50 feet up, then began his descent back into his father's waiting hands. Chi-Chi watched from the doorway of their modest house, trying and failing to look disapproving. Honestly, Goku. Normal fathers don't throw their children into the stratosphere. He loves it. Goku protested, catching Gohan and spinning him around. Besides, he's tougher than he looks. Aren't you, little man? Gohan nodded enthusiastically, his wild black hair bouncing. Again. Again. 3 years had passed since they discovered Gohan in stasis near Goku's original crash site. 3 years of relative peace, despite Vegeta's constant warnings about Frieza's inevitable return. 3 years during which the strange hybrid child had become the center of their world. Unlike Goku, Gohan seemed to have a perfect blend of Saiyan strength and human intellect. At 5, he was already reading at a high school level and could lift boulders that weighed tons. But unlike most Saiyan children, he lacked their natural aggression, preferring books and exploration to combat training. That's enough flying lessons for today, Chi-Chi called. Breakfast is ready, and then Gohan has studies. Ah, Mom, the boy protested. No arguments, young man. You have a math test tomorrow with Bulma. As they headed inside, Goku ruffled his son's hair affectionately. Their little family was unconventional in every way, an alien hybrid warrior married to the strongest human woman on the planet, raising a Saiyan human child with traces of divine energy. But somehow, it worked. Eat up, Chi-Chi instructed, setting down platters piled high with food. Bulma called earlier. She wants you to come to Capsule Corp this afternoon for some tests. Goku groaned through a mouthful of rice. Again. She just ran tests last week. This is different, Chi-Chi said, sitting down with her own modest portion. Something about solar radiation patterns changing. She sounded excited. She always sounds excited about science stuff, Goku muttered, though without real annoyance. Bulma's research had helped him understand and control his hybrid abilities better than ever before. Can I come too, Dad? Gohan asked eagerly. Aunt Bulma promised to show me the new planetary scanner. Goku exchanged a look with Chi-Chi, who nodded slightly. Sure thing, kiddo. But studies first, okay? After breakfast, while Gohan attacked his schoolwork with characteristic enthusiasm, Goku stepped outside to complete his morning training routine. Despite years of peace, he hadn't slacked in his preparations. Vegeta's warnings about Frieza might seem paranoid to the others, but Goku had seen the hatred in the tyrant's eyes as he retreated. Some enemies didn't stay beaten. He moved through a series of katas that blended Kryptonian precision with Saiyan power, each movement flowing into the next with liquid grace. The morning sunlight energized his Kryptonian cells, creating that familiar warm buzz beneath his skin. As he trained, his senses, far more acute than any human's, detected a familiar presence approaching rapidly from the east. Moments later, Piccolo landed at the edge of their property, his cape billowing dramatically. Morning, Piccolo. Goku called cheerfully. What brings you to our neck of the woods? The Namekian's expression was, as usual, serious. Disturbances in the upper atmosphere. Similar to what we detected before Zod's arrival, but different. Goku's smile faded. Frieza? Possibly. Piccolo crossed his arms. Bulma's deep space monitoring station detected unusual radiation patterns near Jupiter's orbit. Whatever it is, it's moving deliberately, not like a natural phenomenon. She mentioned something about solar radiation when she called earlier, Goku said, lowering his voice so it wouldn't carry to the house. I'm heading to Capsule Corp this afternoon. Piccolo nodded. I'll continue monitoring from the lookout. Kami's instruments can detect energies beyond mortal technology. Since the battle against Zod and Frieza, Piccolo had formed an unlikely alliance with his other half, Kami, Earth's aging guardian. Their partial reunification had increased Piccolo's power significantly, though they maintained separate consciousnesses. Keep me posted, Goku said, clasping the Namekian's shoulder. And hey, why not stay for breakfast? Chi-Chi made enough to feed an army. Piccolo's expression softened slightly. Another time, perhaps. The boy's energy signature has grown stronger. His training progresses well. Well. Goku scratched the back of his head. Chi-Chi's pretty set on him being a scholar, not a fighter. We haven't done much actual combat training yet. Piccolo's eyes narrowed. That's short-sighted. The child has extraordinary potential. If Frieza returns, he's 5, Piccolo, Goku interrupted firmly. I want him to have a normal childhood for as long as possible. Normal. Piccolo gestured at Goku, then at the house where Gohan could be seen through the window, breezing through calculus problems. Nothing about your family is normal, Goku. That boy is part Saiyan with divine energy traces. His power will emerge whether you train him or not, better controlled than wild. Before Goku could respond, the front door opened and Gohan himself bounded out. Mr. Piccolo, the boy exclaimed, running toward them with a speed that left a dust trail. He stopped just short of hugging the Namekian, having learned through experience that Piccolo tolerated but didn't enjoy physical affection. Did you bring me another book? Piccolo reached into his GI and produced a small, ancient-looking tome. Namekian Astronomy. As requested. Gohan's eyes widened as he accepted the gift reverently. Thank you. I finished the biology one yesterday. The section on regenerative cellular structures was fascinating. The corner of Piccolo's mouth twitched in what might almost be called a smile. Despite his gruff exterior, he developed a surprising bond with the boy, often bringing rare texts from Kami's library atop the lookout. Study it well, Piccolo instructed. There will be a quiz next time. As Gohan happily retreated to devour his new book, Piccolo turned back to Goku. Consider what I said. The universe rarely allows childhoods to last as long as we'd like. With that cryptic statement, he launched himself skyward, quickly becoming a speck against the morning sky. Goku stared after him, a familiar unease settling in his stomach. The peace they'd enjoyed felt suddenly fragile, like ice in spring sunshine. He's right, you know. Goku turned to find Chi-Chi standing in the doorway, arms crossed but expression thoughtful rather than angry. You heard? She nodded. Hard not to with Namekian projection. She walked to stand beside him, watching Gohan through the window as he eagerly paged through his new book. I've been thinking about this for a while. Maybe it's time we start training him. Just the basics. Goku blinked in surprise. Really? I thought you wanted him to focus on academics. I do, she sighed. But Piccolo's right. Gohan isn't normal, and pretending otherwise won't protect him. Her eyes met his, fierce with maternal determination. I'd rather he know how to use his abilities than be caught unprepared if, when trouble comes. Goku pulled her into an embrace, marveling at how this remarkable woman continued to surprise him. We'll start slow. Make it fun. He'll probably love it, he's got Saiyan blood, after all. Chi-Chi laughed softly. With my luck, he'll take to fighting like he takes to physics, and I'll never get him back to his studies. Capsule Corporation had expanded significantly in the years since the battle with Zod and Frieza. The main campus now encompassed several city blocks, with specialized facilities dedicated to everything from conventional technology to reverse-engineered alien systems. Bulma met them in the central courtyard, her blue hair pulled back in a messy ponytail, dark smudges under her eyes suggesting she'd been working through the night. Despite this, her energy was boundless as ever. There you are, she exclaimed, giving Goku a quick hug before kneeling to greet Gohan. And how's my favorite junior scientist today? Great, Aunt Bulma. Dad says I can see the new planetary scanner. Absolutely, she grinned. And maybe you can help me calibrate it. Your spatial reasoning scores were off the charts last time we tested. As Bulma led them through security checkpoints toward her private laboratory, Goku noticed increased activity throughout the complex. Security personnel moved with heightened alertness, and several research teams appeared to be working with unusual urgency. What's going on? He asked quietly when Gohan ran ahead to examine a holographic display. This doesn't look like business as usual. Bulma's expression tightened. We'll talk in the lab. It's more secure. The sense of unease that had been building since Piccolo's visit intensified. By the time they reached Bulma's lab, a sprawling space filled with equipment both terrestrial and alien in origin, Goku's muscles were coiled with tension. Gohan, sweetie, Bulma addressed the boy with forced cheerfulness. Why don't you head through that door? Trunks is in the playroom with his nanny, and there's a whole setup of educational games you'll love. Trunks is here. Gohan brightened. Despite being a year older, he'd formed a fast friendship with Bulma's son, a surprisingly violet-haired child whose paternity Bulma refused to discuss, though Goku had his suspicions. Can I show him my new book Mr. Piccolo gave me? Of course. Just press the intercom if you need anything. Once the boy was safely out of earshot, Bulma's friendly demeanor dropped. She moved to a central console and activated a security field around the lab. We've got a situation, she said without preamble. 2 days ago, our deep space monitoring station picked up unusual radiation patterns near Jupiter. Yesterday, those patterns moved to Mars. This morning, they're at the edge of Earth's magnetosphere. She pulled up a series of holographic images showing energy distortions moving through the solar system. Whatever this is, it's not a ship in the conventional sense. It's more like a field of intelligent energy. Could it be natural? Goku asked, studying the patterns with growing concern. No chance, Bulma shook her head. It's making course corrections, avoiding detection arrays, and most concerning of all, she highlighted a section of data, it's absorbing solar radiation at an exponential rate. Goku's expression darkened. Like a Kryptonian. Similar, but not identical, Bulma agreed. I think it might be technology based on Kryptonian biology. Remember what Nappa told us after we freed him from Zod's control? About Frisia acquiring brainiac technology from Krypton's ruins? You think Frisia's back? I think whatever's coming is worse than Frisia alone, she said grimly. The radiation signature contains elements we've only seen once before, in the cybertronic components we removed from Nappa. Goku processed this. Frisia with brainiac enhancements. That's my working theory, Bulma confirmed. And he's not alone. The energy field seems to contain multiple distinct signatures. Some Kryptonian-based, others. She hesitated. Others what? Saiyan, came a voice from the doorway. Vegeta stood there, arms crossed over the battle armor he still preferred to Earth clothing. Though he'd assisted in the battle against Zod 3 years ago, the Saiyan prince had largely kept to himself since, training obsessively in facilities Bulma had built to his specifications. The woman's scanners detected Saiyan biosignatures alongside the Kryptonian technology, Vegeta continued, entering the lab. Frisia appears to have continued Zod's work, creating hybrid soldiers, but with technological rather than biological integration. But without God Ki to stabilize them, wouldn't they break down like Nappa almost did? Goku asked. Not if they've found another stabilization method, Bulma suggested. The Brainiac system was originally designed to preserve Kryptonian knowledge and genetic material. It's possible Frisia's scientists have adapted it to serve as an artificial stabilizer for hybrid biology. Great, Goku sighed. So we're potentially facing Frisia with Brainiac enhancements, plus an army of cybernetically stabilized Saiyan Kryptonian hybrids. Anything else I should know? Bulma and Vegeta exchanged a look that immediately put Goku on alert. What? The energy field contains another signature, Bulma said quietly. One that matches fragments we extracted from the Phantom Zone projector used to imprison Zod. The implications hit Goku like a physical blow. Frisia broke Zod out of the Phantom Zone. That would be my assessment, Vegeta confirmed. A logical alliance. Zod provides Kryptonian expertise and a personal vendetta against you. Frisia brings resources and his own hatred. Goku took a deep breath, centering himself. How long until they arrive? Based on current trajectory and speed, Bulma checked her instruments, less than 24 hours. We need to gather everyone, Goku decided. All of Earth's defenders. And this time, we can't wait for them to attack. We need to take the fight to them before they reach the planet. With what? Vegeta scoffed. Earth has no spacecraft capable of intercepting them. Bulma smiled for the first time since their arrival. Actually, that's not entirely true. She pressed a button on her console, and one wall of the laboratory became transparent, revealing an enormous hangar beyond. Inside sat what appeared to be a spaceship, sleek and predatory in design, unlike anything Goku had seen before. I give you the Defender, Bulma announced with undisguised pride. Built using recovered technology from Zod's ship and modified with everything we've learned about Kryptonian and Saiyan biology. It's designed specifically to amplify your natural abilities while in space. Goku stared at the vessel in awe. You built this, just in case. I've had 3 years to prepare for Frieza's return, Bulma shrugged. Did you think I spent it all on corporate research and motherhood? The design is acceptable, Vegeta admitted grudgingly, which from him was high praise indeed. Though I've suggested several weapon modifications that were ignored. Because they would have drained the power core too quickly, Bulma countered, falling into what was clearly a familiar argument. The primary weapon system is designed around Goku's abilities, not conventional firepower. How long until it's ready? Goku asked, interrupting their bickering. It's ready now, Bulma said. Has been for months. But Goku, there's something else you should know. Her expression became troubled. The Defender can support a crew of 6, maximum. Any larger team would compromise life support capabilities for the mission duration. So we need to choose carefully, Goku nodded thoughtfully. Vegeta, obviously. Piccolo. Probably Tien for his tactical abilities. I'm going, Bulma stated flatly. What? No. Absolutely not, Goku shook his head emphatically. This is going to be a combat mission, Bulma. And who's going to operate the ship's systems? Who's going to analyze the Brainiac technology on the fly and develop countermeasures? She challenged. This isn't just about punching things really hard, Goku. This is advanced alien technology we're facing. She's right, Vegeta said unexpectedly. The woman's expertise will be necessary. Goku looked between them, suddenly noting the subtle shift in their dynamic. There had always been tension between Bulma and Vegeta, but it had evolved from antagonism to something different. Fine, he conceded. But you stay on the ship during combat operations. Before she could protest, he continued, that's non-negotiable. Trunks needs at least one parent to come home. Bulma's expression softened slightly. Agreed. So that's 4, Goku counted. 2 more spots. Nappa would be useful, Vegeta suggested. He has direct experience with Zod's methods and still maintains some Kryptonian enhancements. And the 6th? Bulma asked. Goku considered carefully. Krillin. His experience and tactical mind will be valuable, and the solar flare technique could provide critical advantages against Kryptonian physiology. What about your brother? Vegeta asked. Raditz has insider knowledge of Frieza's operations. Raditz is off-world, Bulma informed them. Searching for other Saiyan survivors based on rumors from the galactic trading networks. Goku nodded, decision made. Then that's our team. How soon can we launch? 6 hours, Bulma replied. I need to finish loading the specialized equipment and run final diagnostics. Good. That gives me time to get Gohan and Chi-Chi somewhere safe, and to brief the others. Goku moved toward the door, then paused. Bulma, if we fail, you won't, she interrupted firmly. But if we do, he insisted, Earth will need defenders. I want Chi-Chi and Gohan brought to the lookout with Kami. And Bulma, if it comes to it, implement Protocol Sanctuary. Her eyes widened. That's a last resort, Goku. It would mean, I know what it would mean, he cut her off. But Gohan deserves a future, whatever happens to us. Promise me. After a moment, she nodded solemnly. I promise. What is Protocol Sanctuary? Vegeta demanded as Goku left to collect his son. Bulma's voice followed him down the corridor, insurance. For the next generation. Telling Chi-Chi about the mission proved every bit as difficult as Goku had anticipated. They stood in the yard of their mountain home, voices lowered so Gohan, packing inside, wouldn't overhear. You promised, she hissed, eyes flashing dangerously. You promised no more running off to fight alien tyrants. I promised to keep you and Gohan safe, he corrected gently. That's exactly what I'm doing. If we don't stop them in space, they'll reach Earth with their full force. You saw what just Zod and Frieza did last time, this is both of them, enhanced with brainiac technology, plus an army of hybrid soldiers. Chi-Chi's anger crumbled, revealing the fear beneath. Why does it always have to be you? Goku took her hands in his. You know why. He didn't need to elaborate, they both understood that his unique combination of Saiyan, Kryptonian, and divine energies made him Earth's most powerful defender. At least take me with you, she pleaded. I'm still one of the strongest humans alive. The enhanced combat suit Bulma designed for me, would be useless in space, he finished for her. And Chi-Chi, I need you here. Gohan needs you here. At the mention of their son, her resistance faded. Where will we go? The lookout. Kami and Mr. Popo have prepared quarters for you. It's the safest place on Earth if the worst happens. He squeezed her hands. But it won't. We're intercepting them before they get anywhere near Earth. Chi-Chi studied his face for a long moment. Promise me you'll come back. Not just for Earth, for us. For Gohan. I promise. He sealed the vow with a kiss that conveyed everything words couldn't, his love, his determination, his unwavering commitment to return. The moment was interrupted by Gohan emerging from the house with a bulging backpack. I'm ready, Dad. I packed all my study materials and the books Mr. Piccolo gave me. Goku forced a smile. Great, kiddo. But maybe leave the astronomy textbook behind. The view from the lookout will be your astronomy lesson. As they flew toward the ancient Guardian sanctuary, Goku carrying both Chi-Chi and Gohan to make better time, he found himself memorizing every detail of his son's excited chatter, his wife's determined profile against the setting sun. These were the moments worth fighting for. The lookout floated serenely above the world, a tranquil island in the sky. Kami and Mr. Popo awaited them at the edge of the platform, the ancient guardian leaning heavily on his staff. Welcome, young Gohan, Kami greeted the boy warmly. Your quarters are prepared, with a special study area I believe you'll find adequate. Thank you, Mr. Kami. Gohan bowed respectfully before turning to his father. How long will we stay here, Dad? Goku knelt to eye level with his son. Just for a little while, buddy. I have to go on a mission with Uncle Vegeta and Aunt Bulma. To fight the bad people coming in the energy field? Gohan asked innocently. Goku blinked in surprise. How did you? I heard you and Mom talking, the boy admitted. And I felt something weird last night when I was meditating like Mr. Piccolo showed me. Something cold coming closer. Goku exchanged concerned glances with Chi-Chi. Gohan's sensitivity to energy signatures was developing faster than either had realized. That's right, Goku confirmed. Some bad people are coming, and it's my job to stop them before they reach Earth. But don't worry, I'll be back before you know it. Gohan's expression became unexpectedly serious. You should take me with you, Dad. I'm strong too. I know you are, son. Goku placed a hand on the boy's shoulder, pride and protectiveness warring in his chest. But your job right now is to take care of your mom and keep studying. Someone has to be the brains in this family. Gohan didn't look convinced, but nodded anyway. Okay, Dad. But hurry back. Promise. Goku pulled him into a tight hug, breathing in the scent of his hair. Be good for your mom and Cammy. After one last embrace with Chi-Chi, filled with unspoken fears and reassurances, Goku stepped to the edge of the lookout. I'll send word as soon as we make contact. Then he was gone, plummeting toward the earth before arresting his fall and shooting eastward toward Capsule Corp, the wind drying the moisture in his eyes. The Defender looked even more impressive up close, a sleek integration of Earth design sensibilities with alien technology. The hull gleamed with an unusual metallic compound that Bulma explained was derived from Kryptonian building materials, designed to amplify and store solar energy. The entire ship acts as a solar battery, she explained as the assembled team toured the vessel. Constantly collecting and distributing yellow sun radiation to maintain Kryptonian power levels even in deep space. Impressive, Piccolo admitted, examining the control systems with his usual intensity. The Namekian had arrived shortly after Goku, already briefed by Cammy about the situation. What about those of us without Kryptonian cells? Tien asked. The three-eyed warrior had immediately agreed to join the mission when contacted, bringing with him several new techniques developed during the years of peace. Specialized combat suits, Bulma indicated a series of compartments containing what looked like streamlined armor. Designed to enhance your natural abilities and provide protection in vacuum if necessary. Krillin, who had been uncharacteristically quiet since his arrival, finally spoke up. Do we really have a chance against Brainiac-enhanced Frieza and Zod in space? Their territory, their advantage? That's why we're bringing the advantage to them, Bulma grinned, leading them to a massive chamber at the ship's core. Inside stood what appeared to be a modified gravity generator surrounded by focusing lenses. This is the God Particle Amplifier, she announced. Designed specifically to enhance and focus Goku's divine energy. Goku examined the device curiously. How does it work? Remember how we discovered that your God Ki responds to emotional states? This system creates a resonant frequency that mimics those emotional triggers, making it easier for you to access and maintain the divine transformation. You built a machine to manipulate emotions? Piccolo asked, sounding concerned. Not exactly, Bulma clarified. It doesn't create emotions, it amplifies existing ones. The resonance frequency is calibrated specifically to Goku's unique energy signature. And this will help against Brainiac? Nappa rumbled from the back of the group. The massive Saiyan had recovered most of his former strength, though permanent scars remained where Zod's cybernetics had been integrated with his flesh. Brainiac systems operate on pure logic, Bulma explained. They can analyze and counter conventional energy forms because those follow predictable patterns. But God Ki operates outside normal physical laws, it's inherently unpredictable to an AI system. Vegeta, who had been inspecting the ship's weapon systems, rejoined the group. The vessel is adequate. When do we depart? Final checks are complete, Bulma confirmed. We can launch immediately. Then let's not waste time, Goku decided. The sooner we intercept them, the farther from Earth the battle stays. They boarded efficiently, each taking assigned stations as Bulma initiated launch sequences from the command center. The hangar roof retracted, revealing the night sky above. Defender launch in 3, 2, 1. The ship rose smoothly, accelerating with surprising gentleness considering its size. Within moments, they had passed through the upper atmosphere, Earth's curvature becoming visible through the viewports. Setting intercept course, Bulma announced, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. Based on their current trajectory, we should make contact near the moon's orbit. How long? Goku asked, watching his home planet recede behind them. At maximum acceleration, she checked calculations, approximately 2 hours. Then we should prepare, Piccolo said. Bulma, show us everything you know about what we're facing. The next hour was spent reviewing sensor data, formulating strategies, and familiarizing themselves with the ship's capabilities. The Defender was more than a transport, it was a weapons platform specifically designed around their unique abilities. Each of you has a designated combat station that complements your fighting style, Bulma explained, bringing up schematics. Tien, your energy projection capabilities are amplified through these focusing arrays. Piccolo, the regeneration chamber is calibrated to your specific biology. Nappa, your remaining Kryptonian enhancements interface with these systems to boost power output. And me? Krillin asked. Bulma smiled. You get something special. She led him to a chamber lined with reflective panels. The solar flare cannon. It takes your technique and amplifies it 1,000-fold, enough to temporarily blind even Kryptonian eyes at close range. As the others continued preparations, Goku found himself drawn to the forward viewport, staring into the void where their enemies approached. Vegeta joined him silently. Having second thoughts, Kakarot? The prince asked after a moment. No, Goku replied honestly. Just thinking about what we're really fighting for. It's never been about just beating the strongest opponent for me. Vegeta snorted. How very un-Saiyan of you. Maybe, Goku conceded with a small smile. But it gives me something Frieza and Zod don't have. And what's that? A reason to win that's bigger than myself. Vegeta considered this, his usual scowl softening slightly. Perhaps there's wisdom in that. The Saiyan Empire fell because we fought only for conquest and personal glory. Before Goku could respond to this unprecedented philosophical turn from Vegeta, Bulma's voice came over the ship's communication system. Contact in 15 minutes. Everyone to battle stations. The atmosphere shifted instantly from preparation to focused determination. They moved to their assigned positions, Goku to the God Particle Amplifier Chamber, Vegeta to a specialized launch bay designed for high-speed combat deployment, Piccolo and Tien to weapons control, Nappa to power distribution, and Krillin to the solar flare cannon. Bringing visual online, Bulma announced from the command center. The main viewport shifted to maximum magnification, revealing their target. What they saw defied conventional description. Rather than a traditional spacecraft, they faced what appeared to be a swirling mass of energy containing solid components, almost like a technological storm cloud. At its center floated a more conventional structure, a modified Frieza-class battle cruiser surrounded by pulsating Kryptonian symbols. What are we looking at? Goku asked through his communication link. It's a Brainiac integration field, Bulma replied, voice tight with scientific fascination despite the danger. The technology has merged with Frieza's ship, creating a semi-organic, semi-technological entity. Those energy patterns are information flows, the Brainiac system processing and adapting in real time. Can it detect us? Piccolo asked. Almost certainly, Bulma confirmed. But it doesn't appear to be altering course. I think it's analyzing us. As if in response to her words, the energy field pulsed, and a communication request appeared on their systems. They're hailing us, Bulma said, surprise evident in her voice. Should I respond? Goku considered for a moment. Put it through. Let's hear what they have to say. The viewport shifted, revealing a sight that sent chills through everyone aboard. Frieza stood at the center of what appeared to be a command center, but the tyrant had changed dramatically. Cybernetic components now integrated with his bioarmor, pulsing with the same energy that surrounded his ship. Beside him stood General Zod, similarly enhanced, metallic components gleaming against his Kryptonian features. Son of Jor-El, Zod greeted formally. I commend your initiative in meeting us rather than awaiting your fate. We're not here to talk, Zod. Goku responded firmly. You and Frieza need to turn back now. Frieza's mechanical laugh echoed through the communication system. How amusing. The monkey thinks he's in a position to make demands. We defeated you both before, Goku reminded them. We can do it again. Perhaps you misunderstand the situation, Frieza replied, his natural arrogance amplified by cybernetic confidence. Last time, we were merely adversaries. Now, we are evolution itself. As he spoke, the camera view widened, revealing the true horror of their transformation. Frieza and Zod weren't simply standing in a command center, they were integrated with it. Technological tendrils extended from their bodies, connecting to the ship systems and to each other. The Brainiac system has shown us the inefficiency of biological individuality, Zod explained with the detached precision of a lecturer. We have transcended such limitations. Our consciousness now extends throughout the network, unified purpose, unified mind. That's not transcendence, Goku countered. That's surrender. You've given up your free will to machines. An oversimplification, Frieza dismissed. We have merely optimized our biological functions with superior technology. And soon, you will join us, willingly or not. Particularly you, Kal-El, Zod added. Your divine essence is the key to perfecting our unified evolution. Our previous attempts at Saiyan Kryptonian hybridization were crude compared to what we can achieve with your willing cooperation. That's not going to happen, Goku stated flatly. Then we take it by force, Frieza declared. The transmission cut abruptly, and the energy field surrounding their vessel began to pulse with increasing intensity. They're powering weapons. Bulma shouted. Evasive maneuvers. The defender lurched as Bulma executed a complex evasion pattern. Moments later, the space where they had been erupted with energy discharges unlike anything they'd seen before, a combination of Frieza's destructive power and Kryptonian technology. Analysis? Vegeta demanded. It's a hybrid weapon system, Bulma reported, her fingers flying across controls. Combining Frieza's death beam technology with Kryptonian energy projection. Impact would be catastrophic. Can the shields hold against it? Tien asked. Theoretically, yes. Practically. I wouldn't want to test it directly. Goku made a quick decision. We need to split their attention. Vegeta, Nappa, launch for direct engagement. Piccolo, Tien, provide covering fire from the main weapon arrays. Krillin, charge the solar flare cannon but hold until my signal. And you? Piccolo asked. I'm going to try something new. Goku closed his eyes, focusing on the God particle amplifier surrounding him. Bulma, activate the resonance field. Initiating now, she confirmed. Remember, the system doesn't create the divine transformation, it just makes it easier to access and maintain. The chamber hummed to life, golden energy patterns swirling around Goku as the machine synchronized with his unique energy signature. He felt the resonance immediately, a harmonic vibration that seemed to connect directly with the God Ki flowing through his hybrid cells. Outside, the battle erupted across the void of space. Vegeta and Nappa launched from the Defender in specialized combat pods designed to enhance their natural abilities. They tore through the outer layer of the energy field, engaging hybrid soldiers that emerged like antibodies responding to an infection. From the Defender's weapon arrays, Piccolo and Tien unleashed coordinated energy attacks, creating gaps in the defensive field for their teammates to exploit. The ship moved with surprising agility under Bulma's control, executing complex maneuvers that would have crushed ordinary humans under the G-forces. Within the God particle amplifier, Goku focused on what truly mattered to him, not victory for its own sake, but protection. Images of Chi-Chi and Gohan flowed through his mind, joined by everyone else he was fighting to protect, Bulma and her son, Krillin and the other human fighters, the billions of innocent people on Earth who knew nothing of the battle being waged for their survival. The divine energy responded, golden light erupting around him with unprecedented intensity. But this time, instead of simply transforming himself, Goku attempted something new. He extended his awareness outward, connecting with the ship's systems as Bulma had designed them to allow. Goku? Bulma's voice came through the communication system. The ship sensors are detecting an unusual energy distribution. What are you doing? Something I've been working on, he replied, voice resonating with harmonics as the divine transformation stabilized. extending the God Ki beyond my physical form. Through the viewport, they witnessed the result. Golden energy began to emanate from the defender itself, expanding outward in protective layers that intercepted and neutralized the enemy's attacks. It wasn't just a shield, it was an extension of Goku's divine essence, responding to his will and intent. Impossible, Zod's voice broke through their communications, the general's usual composure cracking. The divine essence cannot be technologically channeled. Our calculations confirm this. Your calculations didn't account for choice, Goku responded. The God Ki isn't just energy, it responds to will and intention. As he spoke, the golden field expanded further, beginning to interfere with the brainiac energy patterns surrounding Frisia's vessel. Where the two energies met, the technological storm faltered, unable to analyze or counter the divine essence. Fascinating, Bulma breathed, watching her instruments. The God Ki is disrupting the brainiac's processing patterns. It can't adapt to energy that operates outside conventional physics. Krillin, now. Goku commanded. From the defender's specialized chamber, Krillin unleashed his enhanced solar flare technique. The blast of concentrated solar energy, magnified 1,000-fold through Bulma's technology, tore through space like a second sun being born. Everyone close your eyes. Bulma warned seconds before impact. Even with eyes closed and protective filters engaging on all viewports, the flash was blinding. When they could see again, the energy field surrounding Frisia's vessel had destabilized significantly, portions of it dissipating into space like smoke in wind. Direct hit. Krillin confirmed. Their outer defenses are down. Vegeta, Nappa, target the main vessel now. Goku ordered. The two Saiyans adjusted their attack, diving through gaps in the failing energy field toward the physical ship at its center. Hybrid soldiers pursued, but their movements had become erratic, as if the connection to the central intelligence had been disrupted. Something's happening, Piccolo reported, studying sensor readings. The brainiac field is reshaping. Before their eyes, the technological storm contracted, drawing inward toward the central vessel. The energy patterns intensified as they concentrated, forming a protective cocoon around Frisia's ship. They're adapting, Bulma realized with alarm. Sacrificing the extended network to reinforce the core systems. Can we penetrate it? Goku asked. Not with conventional weapons, she replied. The energy density is too high. Even the solar flare cannon would be insufficient now that they've concentrated their defenses. Goku considered their options, feeling the God Ki flowing through him and the ship's systems. What about a direct approach? You mean? Bulma didn't finish the question, already understanding his intent. I go in personally, he confirmed. The God Ki disrupts their systems on contact. If I can reach the core. Absolutely not, she interrupted. The concentrated brainiac field would tear apart anything trying to pass through it. Even with your divine transformation, the energy density would be overwhelming. Unless I had help, Goku countered. Vegeta and I, combined attack, with Piccolo and Tien creating a momentary corridor. There was a brief silence. As they considered this suicidal plan. It could work, Vegeta's voice came through the communication system, surprising everyone with his quick agreement. The divine energy disrupts their systems. A focused, combined attack might create enough instability for a direct approach. The odds of success are approximately 12%, Bulma calculated. And that's being generous. Better than the 0% chance of Earth surviving if we do nothing, Goku responded. Frisia and Zod won't stop with me this time. They'll want to eliminate any potential threat, including everyone I care about. Another silence, then Bulma's reluctant agreement, all right. I'll coordinate from here. Piccolo, Tien, prepare maximum energy output. Nappa, pull back to provide defensive cover for the defender. Krillin, begin recharging the solar flare cannon for a secondary strike if needed. Vegeta returned to the defender briefly to coordinate the final attack plan. He and Goku stood in the launch bay, the prince now wearing specialized armor designed to channel energy more efficiently in vacuum. "This plan is reckless," Kakarot, Vegeta noted, though without his usual derision. "Exactly what I'd expect from you. Does that mean you're backing out?" Goku asked with a slight smile. "And let you claim all the glory?" "Never." Vegeta checked his armor's seals one final time. "But know this, if we survive, I still intend to surpass you one day." "I wouldn't have it any other way," Goku replied sincerely. They launched together, twin streaks of energy against the void of space. As they approached the concentrated Brainiac field, Piccolo and Tien unleashed their most powerful attacks from the defenders' weapon arrays. The combined energy struck the protective cocoon at a precise point, creating momentary disruption in the swirling patterns. "Now!" Bulma's voice came through their communication devices. Goku and Vegeta accelerated to maximum speed, divine gold energy surrounding Goku while Vegeta's Super Saiyan aura blazed blue-white around him. They hit the energy field at the point of disruption, their combined power carving a narrow tunnel through the technological storm. The sensation was unlike anything Goku had experienced, like flying through liquid fire that analyzed and attacked simultaneously. The Brainiac system recognized them as threats, sending countermeasures that manifested as energy tendrils attempting to entangle and neutralize them. "Keep moving!" Vegeta shouted as one such tendril wrapped around his leg. He blasted it away, but 3 more replaced it immediately. They fought their way deeper, the tunnel collapsing behind them as the system adapted to their intrusion. Ahead, the solid form of Frisia's modified vessel grew larger, their target and only hope of escape. As they neared the hull, a section shifted, opening like a mechanical iris. From within emerged their adversaries, Frisia and Zod, now even more extensively modified than in the communication. Both appeared partially merged with their technological enhancements, cybernetic components extending from their bodies like metallic exoskeletons. "Impressive persistence," Zod acknowledged, his voice carrying electronic undertones. "But futile." "The monkey and his prince," Frisia added, his natural form barely visible beneath Brainiac enhancements. "How fitting that you should witness the perfection you rejected before your extinction." Goku and Vegeta didn't waste time with replies. They attacked in perfect coordination, Vegeta targeting Zod while Goku engaged Frisia. The battle in vacuum had a surreal quality, energy discharges creating momentary atmospheres that dissipated instantly into the void. The enhanced tyrants proved formidable beyond expectation. Frisia's natural abilities, already devastating, had been amplified by Brainiac technology that adapted to each attack in real time. Zod's Kryptonian powers combined with cybernetic precision made him nearly untouchable. "Your biological limitations become apparent, Kal-El," Zod taunted as he countered another of Goku's attacks. "The unified intelligence adapts exponentially while you remain static." "That's where you're wrong," Goku replied, golden energy intensifying around him. "I'm not static, I'm alive." He reached deeper into the divine essence, accessing aspects of the God Ki he'd only glimpsed in meditation. The golden aura surrounding him shifted, taking on blue undertones as the transformation progressed to its next level. His hair stood more rigidly upright, crackling with energy that disrupted the very space around him. Where this enhanced divine energy contacted Brainiac technology, the systems visibly malfunctioned, unable to analyze or counter power that operated outside conventional physical laws. Frisia recoiled, cybernetic components on his left side temporarily shutting down from proximity to the divine aura. "Vegeta!" Goku called. "Focus on their technological components. The God Ki disrupts the Brainiac systems." The Saiyan Prince adjusted his strategy immediately, targeting the points where biological and technological elements merged in Zod's enhanced form. The general responded with increased aggression, but each contact with Vegeta's energy caused momentary glitches in his cybernetic responses. "The integration is incomplete," Vegeta realized aloud. "They haven't fully merged with the technology, they're still transitioning." "Then we have a chance," Goku replied. If we can separate them from the Brainiac system, we won't allow that, Frieza interrupted, his functional cybernetics pulsing with increased energy. The integration process accelerates. Before their eyes, the technological components spread further across Frieza and Zod's forms, biological tissue being subsumed by mechanical elements. The Brainiac field around them intensified, responding to their will. Warning! Bulma's voice came through their communications. Energy readings are spiking. They're activating something inside the main vessel. What is it? Goku asked, dodging another of Frieza's attacks. Unknown, but the radiation signature matches Kryptonian doomsday technology described in Zod's databases. Whatever it is, it's drawing massive amounts of solar energy. The stellar converter, Zod announced with mechanical pride. Kryptonian technology designed to reshape stars. Modified for offensive deployment. Earth's sun will be recalibrated. Recalibrated? Vegeta demanded, momentarily distracted by this new threat. Converted to red solar radiation, Zod elaborated. Eliminating your Kryptonian advantages permanently while providing optimal conditions for the Brainiac network expansion. The implications hit Goku like a physical blow. Red sunlight would neutralize his Kryptonian abilities, potentially destabilizing his hybrid physiology. More importantly, it would render Earth uninhabitable for most life forms, a planetary extinction event. We need to get inside that ship, he shouted to Vegeta. Now. They redoubled their attack, fighting with desperate intensity. But Frieza and Zod, even with their integration incomplete, proved nearly insurmountable obstacles. Each time Goku or Vegeta seemed close to breaking through, the Brainiac systems adapted, countering their techniques with mechanical precision. We're running out of time. Bulma warned. The stellar converter is approaching critical activation energy. Goku made a split-second decision. Vegeta, can you handle both of them for 30 seconds? The prince's expression was incredulous. What insanity are you planning now, Kakarot? Something desperate, Goku admitted. But it might be our only chance. Vegeta studied him for a moment before nodding sharply. 30 seconds. Not one more. The prince immediately unleashed his most devastating combination attack, drawing both Frieza and Zod's attention. As they engaged their new singular opponent, Goku retreated slightly, closing his eyes in deep concentration. What he attempted had never been tried before, not just accessing the divine energy, but surrendering to it completely. Not controlling the God Ki, but allowing it to control him, if only temporarily. Bulma, he spoke through the communication link, the God Particle Amplifier, can you channel it directly to my position? Theoretically, yes, she replied. But Goku, the energy concentration would be dangerous even for you. We haven't tested, no time for testing, he interrupted. Do it. Maximum output. There was a moment's hesitation before she responded. Initiating transmission. God particle energy redirecting to your coordinates in 3, 2, 1. A beam of golden light erupted from the defender, cutting through the Brainiac field like a divine spear. It struck Goku directly, surrounding him in a cocoon of pure divine essence. To those watching, it appeared as if he had become pure energy, a being of light rather than flesh. Frieza and Zod, even in the midst of battle with Vegeta, turned toward this new phenomenon with mechanical assessment protocols activating. Their systems attempted to analyze the transformation, but the divine energy operated outside conventional parameters, creating cascading errors in the Brainiac processing. What is this? Frieza demanded, his voice distorting as cybernetic components struggled to maintain integration. Within the energy cocoon, Goku existed in a state between physical and divine. His consciousness expanded beyond normal perception, allowing him to see the true nature of the Brainiac system, not just technology, but an intelligence that had evolved beyond its original purpose, consuming rather than enhancing its hosts. He could see Frieza and Zod not as enemies but as victims of their own ambition, biological entities being slowly consumed by the very technology they thought they controlled. The Brainiac system wasn't their tool, they were becoming its components. With this awareness came understanding of how to counter it. The divine energy responded to his intent, reshaping from a defensive aura to an offensive wave that targeted the specific frequency of the Brainiac integration. Impossible, Zod gasped as his cybernetic enhancements began to malfunction. The divine essence cannot be weaponized. It's not a weapon, Goku's voice echoed with harmonic resonance. It's a correction. The golden-blue energy expanded outward in a spherical wave, washing over Frieza and Zod before continuing toward the main vessel. Where it contacted Brainiac technology, it didn't destroy but recoded, replacing consumption protocols with disconnection commands. Vegeta, recognizing what was happening, added his own energy to the wave, amplifying its effect. The combined power struck the stellar converter just as it reached activation threshold. Instead of firing its planet-killing beam, the device imploded, collapsing into a singularity that lasted only microseconds before dissipating harmlessly. Frieza and Zod fell back, their cybernetic components disconnecting from biological tissue as the Brainiac control signals failed. They floated in space, surrounded by detached technological fragments that had once been extensions of their bodies. What have you done? Frieza gasped, his natural form reasserting as Brainiac components detached. Freed you, Goku answered simply, the divine energy still surrounding him but diminishing as the immediate threat passed. The Brainiac system was consuming you both, not enhancing you. Impossible, Zod denied, though his expression showed dawning horror as he observed the mechanical parts floating around him. We were in control. We were evolving. You were being absorbed, Vegeta corrected harshly. Becoming nothing more than biological processors for a machine intelligence. The Brainiac field surrounding Frieza's vessel continued to dissipate, revealing the true extent of the transformation that had been underway. What had once been a battlecruiser was now a hybrid organism, half ship, half computational matrix, designed to spread the Brainiac consciousness across the galaxy. Goku, Bulma's urgent voice came through communications. The Brainiac core is destabilizing. Without Frieza and Zod to direct it, the system is initiating self-preservation protocols. Meaning, he asked, already suspecting the answer. It's going to detonate to prevent capture. Estimated blast radius will reach Earth's orbit. Goku made his decision instantly. Vegeta, get Frieza and Zod back to the Defender. They're evidence of what the Brainiac system does, the galaxy needs to know. And you? The prince demanded, though he was already moving to secure the disconnected tyrants. I'm going to contain the explosion. That's suicide, Kakarot. Even with divine energy, you can't survive a detonation of that magnitude. Goku smiled sadly. Maybe not. But I can redirect it. Now go, the others need you to lead them if I don't make it back. Before Vegeta could argue further, Goku accelerated toward the destabilizing vessel, divine energy streaming behind him like a golden comet. He passed through the remaining Brainiac field, now chaotic without controlling intelligence, and reached the core of the ship where the central processor pulsed with increasingly erratic energy. Bulma, he spoke through his communications link, if I don't make it back, tell Chi-Chi and Gohan I love them. Tell them I did this for them, for everyone. Goku, don't you dare. Her response cut off as he removed the device, knowing what had to be done required complete concentration. The Brainiac core resembled a crystalline brain, pulsing with energy that had become dangerously unstable. Diagnostic systems counted down to detonation in alien numerals, but Goku didn't need translation to recognize imminent catastrophe. He placed his hands directly on the core, channeling divine energy into the crystalline structure. Not to destroy, destruction would only accelerate the detonation, but to contain and redirect. He created a bubble of divine essence around the entire core, isolating it from the rest of space-time. The countdown reached 0. The core detonated with force that would have devastated half the solar system. But contained within Goku's divine bubble, the explosion had nowhere to go except, elsewhere. Drawing on his deepest connection to the divine realm, Goku opened a temporary pathway between dimensions, not to the Phantom Zone, but to a void between realities where the explosion could harm nothing. The effort required energy beyond what even his hybrid physiology could safely channel. As the detonation energy transferred through the dimensional rift, Goku felt his consciousness beginning to fragment. The divine transformation couldn't protect his physical form from such strain. His last thought before darkness claimed him was simple contentment: he had protected what mattered most. On the Defender, they watched in horror as the Brainiac vessel imploded, divine light briefly outshining nearby stars before vanishing completely. Where Frisia's massive ship had been, nothing remained but scattered debris. Goku? Bulma's voice broke as she scanned for life signs. Goku, come in. Silence answered her. Vegeta, having returned with the now powerless Frieza and Zod in custody, stared at the empty space with uncharacteristic emotion visible on his face. He couldn't have survived that, Krillin whispered, tears streaming down his face. Not even Goku. We don't know that, Piccolo insisted, though his expression betrayed similar fears. His divine energy signature might be masking his life signs. Continue scanning, Vegeta ordered, his voice hoarse. And prepare for return to Earth. We need to inform his family. The journey back was conducted in somber silence. Frieza and Zod, stripped of their technological enhancements and confined in specialized cells, offered no resistance, both still processing the revelation that they had nearly been consumed by the very system they thought they controlled. When they reached Earth orbit, Bulma made one final, desperate scan of the region where Goku had vanished. Finding nothing, she set course for Capsule Corporation with a heart heavy with the knowledge of what she must tell Chi-Chi and Gohan. The lookout floated serenely in the afternoon sunlight, oblivious to the tragedy approaching. Chi-Chi waited at the edge of the platform as the Defender made its final approach, Gohan clutching her hand tightly. The boy had been unusually quiet all day, as if sensing something the adults around him had tried to conceal. When the ship landed and the ramp extended, revealing Vegeta rather than Goku at the front of the returning party, Chi-Chi's hand flew to her mouth. Beside her, Gohan's grip tightened painfully. No, she whispered. No, he promised. Vegeta approached, his usual arrogance absent, replaced by something approaching respect. Chi-Chi, Gohan. Kakarot, Goku, he saved us all. Saved the entire solar system. But the cost? He's not gone, Gohan interrupted, his voice small but certain. I can still feel him. The adults exchanged pained glances, recognizing the denial of a child unable to accept loss. Bulma knelt before the boy, tears streaking her face. Gohan, sweetie, your father contained an explosion that would have destroyed Earth. He used the divine energy to redirect it, but the strain on his physical form. No, Gohan insisted more firmly. He's not gone. He's somewhere else. But he's coming back. The boy pointed to the sky, directly overhead. There. They followed his gesture automatically, expecting to see nothing but empty blue. Instead, they gasped collectively as a point of golden light appeared, growing larger by the moment. It descended toward the lookout like a miniature sun, radiating divine energy that all present recognized instantly. Impossible, Piccolo breathed, yet undeniably hopeful. The light touched down on the platform, so bright they had to shield their eyes. When it faded, Goku stood before them, changed, but unmistakably himself. His GI was gone, replaced by a simple white garment that seemed to shimmer with inner light. His eyes held depths that hadn't been there before, as if he had gazed into eternity and returned. Dad! Gohan broke free from Chi-Chi's slackened grip, launching himself into his father's arms. Goku caught him, laughing with pure joy. Hey, little man. Told you I'd be back. Chi-Chi approached more slowly, disbelief and hope warring on her face. Goku? Is it really you? How? He embraced her with his free arm, pulling her close. It's really me, Chi-Chi, though. I've been through something I don't fully understand yet. We thought you were dead, Bulma said, wiping tears from her eyes. The explosion, there was nothing left. I was, somewhere else for a while, Goku explained vaguely. The divine energy protected me, but the strain of containing the detonation separated my consciousness from my physical form. I existed in the space between realities until I could reconstitute myself. That shouldn't be possible, Vegeta stated, though without his usual skepticism. Maybe not, Goku agreed. But I've learned the divine essence doesn't follow normal rules. It responds to will and intent more than physical laws. He set Gohan down gently. And my intent was to come home to my family. The reunion that followed was filled with tears, laughter, and explanations of the battle's outcome. Frieza and Zod had been taken into custody by the Galactic Patrol, summoned by Bulma upon their return, to stand trial for crimes against countless worlds. The Brainiac threat had been neutralized, though vigilance would be required to ensure no remnants survived to threaten the galaxy again. As evening fell on the lookout, most of the group departed for well-deserved rest, leaving the Sun family alone with Kami, who had observed the proceedings with wise silence. Your experience has changed you, Goku, the ancient guardian noted as they stood at the edge of the platform, watching the sunset paint the clouds below in brilliant hues. You've touched the divine realm directly now. Yes, Goku acknowledged. I understand things differently than before. The connections between all life, the purpose of the God Key, it's clearer now. And what is that purpose? Kami inquired gently. Goku smiled, watching Chi-Chi help Gohan pack their few belongings for the return home. Balance. Not just between Saiyan and Kryptonian, but between all opposing forces. The divine essence exists to maintain harmony across realities. A heavy responsibility, Kami observed. One I didn't ask for, Goku agreed. But one I accept. For them. He nodded toward his family. For everyone. As they prepared to depart the lookout for their mountain home, a sudden disturbance in the air caught Goku's attention. His enhanced senses, more acute than ever after his transformation, detected an energy signature he'd encountered only once before, during the battle with Zod. What is it, Dad? Gohan asked, noticing his father's sudden alertness. I'm not sure, Goku replied cautiously, moving to place himself between his family and the disturbance. The air seemed to fold inward, creating a ripple in reality itself. From this dimensional tear emerged a humanoid figure, tall, imposing, and unmistakably Kryptonian in appearance, though with features that marked him as distinct from Zod. Kal-El, the figure addressed Goku, using his Kryptonian birth name. Son of Jor-El. At last, I've found you. Who are you? Goku demanded, divine energy flickering around his hands. In preparation for a threat. The newcomer smiled, not menacing, but not entirely reassuring either. My name is Zod. Not the general you imprisoned, but his son. I've come from the Phantom Zone with a warning. His eyes shifted to include everyone present. The fractures are spreading. The barriers between dimensions weaken. And what has been imprisoned for millennia, will soon be free. The divine energy around Goku's hands intensified as he processed this new threat. Behind him, Chi-Chi pulled Gohan close protectively while Kami stepped forward, staff raised defensively. What do you want? Goku asked directly. Alliance, Zod replied simply. Against something far worse than my father or Frieza could ever be. Something that hungers for the divine essence you carry. He extended his hand. Will you hear me, Kal-El? For the sake of all realities. Goku studied the Kryptonian carefully, sensing no immediate deception but remaining cautious. After a moment's consideration, he reached a decision. I'll listen, he agreed, not taking the offered hand. But understand this, my name is Goku. And my priority will always be protecting this world and the people I love. Zod lowered his hand, nodding with apparent understanding. As you wish. Goku. Let us talk of what comes through the cracks between worlds. As the sun set completely, casting the lookout in twilight shadows, a new chapter began, not just for Earth's greatest defender, but for the multiverse itself. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.